One sunny day, Zhang Tian stood in front of his mother's ruined grave and looked at her photograph. He touched the gravestone and said that he would definitely return. He looked at the photograph and thought that his father had married another woman and kicked him and his younger sister and mother out of the house. His mother spent the whole night on her knees in front of his gate in that downpour, begging him to let him and his sister stay. But the heavy gate slammed shut in front of her as if in mockery. She shouted that these were his children, let them stay. When the gates finally opened, his mother rejoiced, thinking that his father had listened to the voice of reason and heart. But he only unleashed angry dogs on them. One of them bit his mother while she was trying to protect them. While the dog was biting her, she screamed at the children to run before it was too late. After that, she was able to break away from the dogs and caught up with her children, and then said that it was all because of her, because she could not protect them. They are just children. Zhang Tian thought that the worst was over, and they could finally live in peace. But soon his mother, unable to come to terms with what had happened, committed suicide by jumping from the roof of the building. But finally she called him and said that she was so sorry, but she had to leave them. Let them take care of each other. She loves them very much. Let him remember that. This was the last call Zhang Tian received from his mother on the way home. When he returned, he found the lifeless body of his mother and his crying sister. Then he was 14, and his sister was only 10. You can imagine how difficult it was for an ordinary boy to take care of his family despite the contempt of others. None of the strangers ever showed compassion for them. Raising a knife above his head, that man would undoubtedly have killed him and his sister, but some man saved them and offered to go with him. 10 years later, Chinese borders were under heavy enemy pressure. They lost several border checkpoints and several 1,000 miles of defense, leaving hundreds of seriously wounded soldiers without generals. But at the very last moment, a man burst into the enemy camp. He easily beheaded the enemy commander and took the lives of tens of thousands of soldiers. And this man was the unsurpassed Chinese warrior Zhang Tian, the rising star of the U.S. Army, the harbinger of war on the wings of death. Having won the war alone, he found himself at the center of unprecedented world fame. He carried within himself the destructive power of earth and heaven, as well as the wrath of thunder. It is unknown whether the old enemies were able to withstand the onslaught of his rage. Just 10 years ago, he lived like a dirty dog. Now he has returned here as the king of heaven. Even Heidong will be in awe of him. Some guys came into the cemetery and asked, "Is he an idiot? Who allowed him to appear here? Is he so stupid that he couldn't see the sign on the gate?" The other guy agreed with him and said that Miss Shanggu and Naylan wanted to take revenge on that wench and asked her to write "the pathetic wench's grave" on her tombstone. He didn't think that anyone would come here after they finished. Zhang Tian thought that it was Shanggu and Naylan. Once upon a time, he and his mother were close friends. But their close connection was broken from just one man. He was the son of the wealthy Chen family. He and his mother were in love even though she had 2 children. Because at that time his mother was like the beautiful flower Hayden, but her heart was already dead. By coincidence, Mr. Chen also courted Naylan, but later rejected her. In order to prevent his mother from entering a rich family, Shanggu and Naylan began to harm her in every possible way, who only had an old house in the city of Heidong. The Shangguan family was involved in the real estate business, and it was not difficult for them to forge documents so that they could then destroy the house. In order to finally deal with the problem, she decided to encroach on his and his sister's lives. Therefore, in order to save them, his mother was forced to commit suicide. But this was not enough for Shanggu and Naylan. She simply could not leave them alone. She constantly wanted to kill them, and even after the death of his mother, she could not calm down, deciding to mock her grave. She had a bunch of bandits guard the grave so that no one could come and honor her soul. Today is 10 years since his mother left this world, and Naylan chose this very day to mock her ashes. This only proves how rotten her soul is. The bandits approached him, and one of them said that he was not in a good mood today, so if he doesn't want trouble, then let him leave here. Another guy lit a cigarette for him and said that today was Mr. Chen's birthday and the day of his engagement. He was most likely sitting in his hotel, eating and drinking to his heart's content, and they should be doing all this. He approached Zhang Tian and told him to get out if he didn't want to collect his knees piece by piece later. He spat on the grave, and the other bandits started laughing and saying that it was a great spit, keep it up, Big John. Another guy approached Zhang Tian and said that if he got into his pants, he would let him live and would also give him a lighter as a souvenir. Zhang Tian looked at Big John and he asked why he was looking at him like that. Has he never seen people spit? He laughed, and then sat down next to the grave and asked, did he really never see it? Well, let him look. At that moment, Zhang Tian grabbed him by the shoulder, and he was very surprised. Then Zhang Tian hit him on the ground and, pointing his finger at the grave, told the bandit to lick it, let them remove all the dirt that they had spread here with their mouths. One of the bandits said that he was just a monster. Another guy said that Big John is very heavy. He did it with ease. Big John began to get up and asked the others to help him. But at that moment, Zhang Tian waved his hand and hit his leg. Big John grabbed his sore leg and Zhang Tian told him to lick it. He looked at the other bandits and said that they should not make him repeat it twice. Big John came up to the grave and said that he would lick it. He began to clean the grave, and at the same moment a helicopter with a container flew into the cemetery. The bandit asked what the helicopter was doing here. Several more helicopters flew over the cemetery, and Zhang Tian told them to start. Containers began to detach and fall to the ground, and people jumped out of helicopters. They landed in front of Zhang Tian, and the bandit asked what was going on. The people knelt down on one knee in front of Zhang Tian and greeted His Highness. Zhang Tian said, let them begin. People obeyed his order and began to open containers of gold. One of the workers said that they should use this gold to make a new tombstone. The bandits were very surprised and said that there was gold here. There were a bunch of containers chock full of gold. This is the first time he sees so much gold, and even on a tombstone. Another bandit said that if all this gold was sold, they could forget about poverty forever. As time passed, Zhang Tian looked at the gold and said that one day his mother jokingly said that he would build her a tombstone made of gold. Here it is. He promises that this trash Shangyuan Nalan will crawl at his feet, and her death will be an apology for her. The bandits began to ask where he came from. He's just terrible. He was going to make a tombstone out of gold. Zhang Tian looked at the bandit and asked what did he say. The bandit fearfully replied that it was nothing. He bowed to him and said that the head of the Chen family had forced them to keep an eye on this place. Zhang Tian thought that after killing his mother, this woman still married Mr. Chen. What a rotten heart she had. After 10 years of hard work, she was able to take control of the entire Chen clan. Even Mogan is now at her beck and call. The bandit grinned and said that the brat was scared. Now no one dares to contradict the Chen family. The head of the Mogan family is an outstanding person. Even if this boy is higher in status, he will not dare to touch him as long as he is under the protection of Mogan. Zhang Tian stomped his foot and asked, what could their Mogan do to him? At the same moment, the destructive force struck down other bandits, and the main one turned around to see what was happening. He saw the death of his comrades, and then began to bow to Zhang Tian and said that he did not want to. Let him not kill him. Let him explain. Zhang Tian asked, explain. The king never listens to pathetic excuses. The bandit asked King, how dare he call himself that? No, he himself is the winged god of war. Zhang Tian waved his hand, cutting off his head in one motion, and then wrapped a cloth around his mother's tombstone and passed it on to his subordinate, saying that today is an important day for Mr. Chen Nalan's birthday. They need to go and put on a little show there. They will return the tombstone to this woman. Some time later at the Chandu Hotel, one of the attractions of Heidong, Zhang Tian drove his car to the entrance and thought that exactly in this place, where the Tiandu Hotel is now located, once upon a time there was his mother's house. A subordinate named Tank approached him and told him that he didn't have to do it himself. One of his guys will be enough. Zhang Tian replied that he did not agree. He personally went to send his enemies to jail. He took the tombstone and entered the hotel. The girls looked at him, and one of them asked who this handsome guy was. He looked so strong. Another girl said he was so cute. She wouldn't mind going on a date with him. Zhang Tian placed the tombstone on the table with a crash, and then began to drink alcohol, and the girl said that she had never seen such a beautiful person in Heidong. Her friend said her heart was about to jump out of her chest. Several people entered the main hall, and Zhang Tian noticed this. The head of security, Wang Xiangyao, approached him and said that according to the hotel rules, first he must register at the reception. He thought that when Mr. Chen arrived, they should provide him with a list of all the people who would attend the engagement ceremony. All these rules were approved by Madame Shangyuan Nalan, and this brat dared to burst in here like that and disturb them. He asked Zhang Tian to show him his invitation, and then noticed a tombstone on the table and asked, what is this? He reached for the tombstone and said that it was his responsibility to show what was inside. Zhang Tian replied that he has no right to see this, he better call Nalan here. He stopped the head of security's hand with chopsticks, and he asked how dare he. How dare he call Madam by her name? Let him show what he has there. But Zhang Tian continued to hold him tightly, and he said that he should let go of his hand. He gritted his teeth and thought, what the hell? He so easily pinned his hand to the table with just his chopsticks. After that, Zhang Tian let him go, and he backed away, hitting the table. Alcohol spilled on his head, and Zhang Tian put down his chopsticks. Meanwhile, they were being watched from the second floor. Chen Heating, the second son of the Chen family, asked Mogan who this guy was. Mogan, the head of the Chen family, said that with his strength, he could slam him with just a flick of his hand. Chen Heating said that over all these years, many young men came to avenge the deaths of their mothers, but in the end, they were all thrown into the sea. The security chief asked the others what the hell they were waiting for. Let them get him out of here. The guards were afraid to approach Zhang Tian, and some girl told them not to get excited. The head of security greeted the manager, and she walked up to Zhang Tian and introduced herself, saying that she was Xuan Y, the public relations manager of the Chengdu Hotel, but to him she was just Y. Would he like to have a drink with her? She thought that he needed to deal with this situation quickly. We can't let the engagement party get ruined. She put her hand on his shoulder and said that he should let her look at what he had brought with him. She thought that she needed to find out what he wanted to give to Madame Naylan and Mr. Chen. Zhang Tian pushed her away and said that let her rid him of this hypocrisy, they better call Naylan here. Xuan Y fell to the floor and asked how dare he push her. A man arrived in the hall and said that he could not believe that in the presence of other men, this guy raised his hand to treat Xuan Y like that. What did he do here? This man's name is Zhao Mao. He is the co-owner of Chengdu Hotel. He hit the guard in the face and asked, are they standing here for beauty? The guard smiled guiltily and said that he was right. It was all their fault. Zhao Mao walked up to Xuan Y and extended his hand to her, asking if she was okay. She started crying and said that he had insulted her. Zhao Mao licked his lips when he saw Xuan Y crying, and then pointed his finger at Zhang Tian and asked how dare he raise his hand to her. Let him kneel before her and ask for forgiveness, and then let him get out of here. Zhang Tianai didn't listen to him and thought that this was his mother's house. She and his mother and sister lived here for a very long time. He remembers how they played hide and seek, and their mother asked if they were hungry yet. Zhao Mao noticed that Zhang Tian was not listening to him and exclaimed, who does he think he is for ignoring him? If so, then now he will dance with him. He looked at Captain Wang and asked what was he waiting for? Let him finish him off. The head of security told the others that they heard him. Let them act. The hotel guests began to worry, and one of them said that if they all attacked him, then this guy would leave no place wet. Someone else said it was a fight. He hoped it would be something to see. Guards began to approach Zhang Tian while he calmly drank alcohol. The head of security said that his pompous appearance irritates him. Now he will beat it all out of him. He swung his hand and said that with a pistol he could finish off a lot of people, but it was too easy and quick death. He prefers an iron club to break bones and cause maximum pain. Being under the protection of the Chen family, he could easily crush a louse like him. Zhao Mao began to lead Xuan Y away and said that this bloodbath was not meant for women's eyes. The security chief almost touched Zhang Tian with his baton, but he quickly reacted and grabbed the tombstone and hit the floor with it. Cracks appeared across the floor of the hotel and a power wave hit the guards at once. All the people immediately took a few steps back, and the two girls glanced at Zhang Tian. One of them asked what was going on. Did she see it? Meanwhile, on the second floor, Chen Heating looked down and told Mogan that there was something wrong with this guy. What does he think about this? Mogan replied that he undoubtedly has potential. He can take 3 of his moves. Chen Heating sat down at the table and said that it was good, there was no need for them to rush. He wonders what he has in his hands. At the same time, Zhao Mao took Xuan Y away and said that it had become somehow lively here, they needed to leave. The gentlemen will deal with it themselves. He decided to turn around and was very surprised when he saw that the entire guard was kneeling in front of Zhang Tian. Zhang Tian closed his eyes and then took the glass of alcohol and told Zhao Mao to come over. Zhao Mao said that the Chengdu Hotel is the property of the Chen family. Besides, today is not only a birthday, but also an engagement ceremony. Mrs. Naylan will come, but later. He thinks because of what he has done here, she will at least listen to his request. But let him not behave arrogantly with her, otherwise he will regret it. After all, this is the territory of the Chen family. In any situation, he needs to be able to stop in time, even if we have a skilled fighter. Alone, he still will not be able to resist her influence. all the murders she committed are considered accidents. Zhang Tian chuckled, and Zhao Mao said that since he doesn't plan to register, it doesn't matter. Let him wait here, Mrs. Nailin will be here soon. He thought that he would distract him with conversations so that he would lose his vigilance. That is, he will simply stall for time. He will wait until young Master Chen comes down, then he will grind this impudent person into powder. Zhang Tian pushed the tombstone and it flew towards Zhao Mao, but he managed to move aside in time, and Zhang Tian said that he was just thinking about how to get rid of it. Since he has evil intentions towards him, then he must die. Zhao Mao was scared, and then bowed to Zhang Tian and said that he should listen to him. He's already screwed for causing a commotion at the hotel, and he wants to kill him. Let him try. For the murder of the co-owner of the hotel, he will suffer a painful death. Zhang Tian put his foot on his head, and he began to beg for help. Chen Heating came down from the second floor with Mogan and told Zhang Tian to stop. Xuanwei called out to him and said that he had finally arrived. This young man broke into the hotel and broke all the rules. She tried to resolve everything for the good, but he simply pushed her away. This is outrageous. And right now, out of the blue, he started beating Mr. Zhao. Let him deal with this impudent man. Zhao Mao looked up at Zhang Tian and asked, has he now realized what situation he is in? If so, let him quickly help him get up and kneel down. He will hit him 300 times, then maybe he will forgive him. But Zhang Tian did not listen to him and pressed his head even harder, slamming him into the floor. He crushed his head, and Zhang Tian walked up to Chen Heating and asked what did he just say to him. Chen Heating backed away in fear, but Mogan held him back and he began to shake his head, saying that he didn't say anything. One of the hotel guests asked what was wrong with him. Did he really retreat from just one glance from his enemy, tail between his legs? Is it really someone powerful who is bullying the people of the East China Sea, Chen Heating? Another guest asked, who is this boy? With just one glance, he was able to intimidate almost the most important person in this city and bring his people to their knees. Mogan sat Chen Heating on a chair and said that he would leave the rest to him. Mogan looked towards Zhang Tian and said that just recently he had stated that he was only able to withstand 3 of his strikes. He made a mistake. He is truly not bad, so he is worthy to withstand 10 of his blows at full strength. One of the guests was surprised and asked, as many as 10 blows from the senior master Mogan. Another guy agreed with him and said that if you need to find a worthy candidate for 10 blows of Mogan, then there will be no such person. And if there is one, then after these 10 blows the poor man will be so crippled that he cannot even give a slap. Moreover, this candidate can only be an old man. They have no others. Mogan smoothed his beard and told Zhang Tian that he would give him a chance. In any case, he is destined for death, but if he can withstand 10 of his blows, so be it, he will let him go. One of the guests said that only for the very possibility of mercy from the cruel Mogan, he could already fall to his knees and thank him for the mercy. He definitely won't be able to cope with Mogan. Let him give up right away so as not to disgrace himself. The man said that in such a situation, this would be the wisest decision. Zhang Tian asked, that is he Mogan? After all, it was he who sent those people to Wanfeng Cemetery. Let him be a good boy and take them out of there. Mogan was surprised by his words, and then told his subordinate that he should call Du Fei and clarify the situation at the cemetery. He wondered if this guy was a relative of someone buried there. Then is it really that what he brought with him in the tissue, is it? Zhang Tian smiled and said that he had killed them all, so he only needed to remove the bodies. Mogan started to get angry and said that he was not bad. It is immediately clear that he is brave. Let him tell him who the hell he is. Zhang Tian replied that he had no right to ask him about this. Mogan said that since he does not understand in a good way, he will do it in a bad way. Let him not blame him for excessive cruelty. Zhang Tian asked, is the pitiful creature looking for death? If so, then he will give him a chance. If he can touch it, then let him consider that he has won. Mogan called him an arrogant puppy and then rushed forward, and the guards told him to kill him. Mogan accumulated power in his hand, and Zhang Tian raised his hand using his power. The tombstone immediately rose from the floor and flew towards Mogan, but he noticed it too late and cursed. The tombstone hit him and he flew back. Then a wound appeared on his chest and blood sprayed from his mouth. He looked at Zhang Tian and asked who he was. He thought, when did this monster appear in Heidong? Zhang Tian ignored him and sat down at the table, asking if anyone could bring him a pomegranate. He thought that he could not forget this pomegranate tree. When he was a child, it grew in their yard. The fruits of this tree were the sweetest. His mother sat under this tree and washed clothes, and his sister, in turn, climbed the tree, tore off grenades, and when they came down, they simply began to play pranks. Mogan said that he actually asked him a question. And instead of answering, he asked for a pomegranate. Let him listen to him. No matter how strong he is, this place is the domain of the Chen family. The head of the family, Chen Badao, is a very powerful and domineering person. He may even be the most important person in Heidong. His advice to him is not to go against him for the sake of his own health. Zhang Tian thought that Chen Badao was undoubtedly the same guy who looked after his late mother while they lived here. This means that he still married Shangyuan Nailin and, in addition, became the most respected person in this district. Then he thought that he was head over heels in love with her mother. He decided that he didn't care. He even wished them happiness. But that was until he accidentally overheard a conversation between Shangyuan Nailin and Chen Badao. He said that he was the very first successful person in the area. Does she think such a noble person could love a woman like her? He gave her the opportunity to get away with it, but she didn't take advantage of it. Zhang Tian thought that his mother jumped off the roof of the building to commit suicide. Chen Badao greatly contributed to this, and he bears immeasurable guilt for her death. Mogan pointed his finger at Zhang Tian and said that he should kneel down with his head bowed right in front of Mr. Chen's door. He has always been lenient towards tramps, so perhaps he will spare his life. He thought that he had actually stooped to such a level as to use his boss's reputation to intimidate an opponent who was stronger than him. Zhang Tian said that he asked them a question. Can someone bring him a pomegranate? Don't they have a pomegranate? He should not have threatened him, but answered his question. Let him die. With one wave of his hand, he knocked Mogan off his feet, and he hit the wall with great force. Everyone was scared, and Xuan Wai asked, how is this possible? This is the strongest elder Mogan. Zhang Tian called Chen Heating a brat and said that at least he should tell him, do they have a pomegranate? Chen Heating waved his hand in fear and said that they don't have it right here. If he allows, he will organize everything right now, and he will get the best pomegranate. Zhang Tian said that he should do so and hurry up. Let him remember, he really wants a pomegranate, the best one. And he also doesn't like being kept waiting. Meanwhile, on the 5th floor of the hotel, the man told the head of the Wen family that today was a significant day. It is today that their Wen and their Chen will be engaged. This engagement will establish a strong bond between their families. This is the best news for the entire county. Their daughter Wai Zhu and his nephew Chen, these two are the most beautiful and promising teenagers in the entire area. They truly deserve each other. This marriage will bless even in heaven. The woman apologized to them because her sister Shangyuan Nailin and her Chen Badao were not here today. Children's engagement, after all. They flew abroad to expand the family business, so they will return after some time. With their permission, she will be in charge of the wedding banquet today. She hopes Mr. Wen won't mind. This woman's name is Shangyuan Suzu. She is Shangyuan Nailan's sister. The head of the Wen family, Wen Qingshan, replied that she was too polite. She is one of the highest status people in Heidong, after her sister. They would be only too happy if she was in charge of the engagement party. He looked at his daughter and said that when she comes down, let her not forget to meet her future husband, Mr. Chen Heating. He thought that his family was now in a deplorable situation. They need a powerful ally. If we consider Heidong, then only Mr. Chen Badao has enough influence. He knows that his daughter doesn't like Chen Heating at all. She should only blame him for forcing her to marry him. There was no need for him to provoke such powerful people. This is what his carelessness led to. When Zhu replied to her father that she understood him. She thought that she had a choice. Run away from home in search of true love and leave her family to certain death, or help her father by marrying the son of an influential man. The choice is obvious. Her father gave her a life that any girl her age could only dream of. If it weren't for him, she wouldn't be sitting here. She will help him. She is afraid that in this life, she will not be destined to meet him again with that stranger, and she will not be able to repay him. Suddenly, a man ran into the room and told Miss Shangyuan that some person downstairs had created huge troubles for them. He not only killed Zhao Mao on the spot, but also injured Elder Mogan. Right now, he is threatening young Master Chen. She slammed her hand on the table and asked who he was. How dare he make a scandal in the house of a great family on such an important day? He's definitely looking for death. When Qingshan asked, why would he personally go down for some second-rate pawn? Let her stay here. He will write a letter for him so that he will shit his pants out of fear. Shangyuan Suzu unrolled the scroll, and Wen Qingshan began to write a letter. After that, he handed the letter to the man, and he said that some daredevil had decided to come to Chen Badao's domain, but now when Kingshan would figure it out without personal intervention, with just a letter. It is an honor to serve him. He headed towards the exit and said that he could call Mr. when a real master of calligraphy. No matter how strong the person who organized the booth below is, he will still submit to the influence of the master. When Zhu told her father that she would also go downstairs, he agreed and she headed downstairs. She came down the stairs and the guests began to say that she was so beautiful. She really suits young Master Chen. She's like a fairy from heaven. Another man said that he wished he could marry a beauty like her. For her sake, he doesn't mind dying. When Zhu looked at the wounded guards and thought, what kind of daredevil created such a mess here? She saw Zhang Tian, and he reminded her of someone. She looked at him and thought in surprise, is it really him? 3 years ago, she and her father traveled abroad to discuss business development with foreign companies. Who would have thought that the negotiations would fail? As a result, halfway home, this partner attacked them. When they got out of the car, her father told her to run, and he himself entered into battle with several thugs. 2 cars caught up with her. She already thought that they would kill her. But when she was completely desperate, a man fell from the sky and was able to stop the moving cars with his bare hands. 1 hand on each. And he saved not only her, but also her father. He is her hero. Even though they only met him once and didn't have time to really talk, he still left a deep impression in her heart. She ran to him and thought that therefore, for the next few years, maybe for the rest of her life, he would firmly occupy the main place in her heart. No matter how powerful and authoritative people she meets, no one can replace him, her hero. The guard picked up young Master Chen and said that his fiancée had come down to meet him. Let him stand up and not disgrace himself in front of her. Chen Heating was happy about this and thought that he had been courting her for a long time. Despite his gifts and compliments, she had always treated him coldly. This is the first time she herself took the initiative and went out to meet him. It seems that she is ready to open up to him. He opened his arms for a hug and told her not to worry, he was fine. But she ran past him and hugged Zhang Tian, saying that she missed him so much. One of the guests said that she had not yet gotten married, but had already cheated on Mr. Chen. The guy said that now he understands why this man was so cruel to everyone here. He was looking for Wenzu. The man agreed with him and said that only this stern man is worthy of the first beauty Hayden. Another man said that the bride cheated on her future husband right in front of him on the day of their engagement. He wonders what kind of reputation Mr. Chen will have now. The Chen family will definitely lose face because of their son. Chen Heating became upset, and when Zhu told Zhang Tian that it was he who caused the commotion here. Zhang Tian thought that 3 years ago, he was just passing by and did not expect to meet his childhood friend. She was in trouble, and naturally he saved her. He doesn't know why, but when he and his sister lived in Heidong, they had no friends at all, but when Zhu became their best friend. And when older guys offended them, she stood up for them. At that time, the Wen family was already quite powerful. He remembers how he reassured his sister, and when Zhu told their offenders that there are so many of them, and they are all such adults, but they still offend the younger ones, they should be ashamed. If it weren't for Wen Zhu, his and his sister's childhood could have turned into hell. He remembered the kindness of this girl and never dared to forget her. When Zhu told him that the last time they didn't see each other, he saved them. If it weren't for him, she's afraid they would have died in a foreign country. And now, 3 years have passed since that incident. She thought that she would never meet him again. That time he left without saying goodbye. She didn't have time to thank him at all, so she thanks him now. Her name is Wen Zhu, he can just call her Zhu, and she also doesn't know his name. Zhang Tian said that his name is Zhang Fei. He thought it was one of his many aliases in his youth, and his name was Zhang Wuken. After some mysterious soldier took the name, he thought that Wuken was a name for sisses, so he took the name Tian. When Zhu said that it was such a coincidence that she had a friend and his surname was also Zhang. Unfortunately, she hasn't seen him for many years. Zhang Tian smiled and said that fate favored them since they were able to meet. Time passed. On the 5th floor of the hotel, the man said that finally everyone below had calmed down. They could continue calmly. Another man said that all this was due to Mr. Wen. Just a couple of calligraphic strokes on a piece of paper scared that guy to death. He insists that he put a few bricks in his pants and ran away from Hayden. He laughed and said that the story of how Mr. Wen's pair of hieroglyphs scared the bandit would go down in history and be told for 1,000 years. Shangyu and Suzu laughed and said that she had a thought. What if she marries Mr. Wen? Then she would become a stepmother to her nephew's wife. The man said that the marriage of the young master of the Chen family and the young lady Wen would ensure prosperity for both families. Another man agreed with him and said that from the first glance at young lady Wen, he immediately knew that she would become the most faithful and best wife for young Master Chen. Thanks to this marriage, their family will reach unprecedented heights. Suddenly, Master Wen's subordinate ran into the room and said that that guy was him. When Qingshan smiled and said that he shouldn't be so emotional, he knew that this guy would be happy for his attention and asked him to keep the letter. Let him go and tell him that today he is lucky to receive these words. For his kindness and virtue in his past life, he can take this calligraphy with him. His subordinate waved his hand and said that young lady Wen and he, this guy and she, they are there in public. When Qingshan asked, does he mean Mr. Chen and his daughter? They are young, so it's no big deal. Anyway, they will get married soon, and she will be a wonderful wife for him. Shanggu and Suzu smiled and said that she really hoped that the snow would melt before her marriage and Zhu could get pregnant with a healthy baby. Then their families will be able to become completely related. Subordinate Wen Qingshan grabbed his master by the hand and said that he should follow him. They walked down, and when Qingshan looked down from the second floor of the hotel, he saw his daughter hugging Zhang Tian and asked what was going on here. Shanggu and Suzu walked up to him and asked what happened. Why was he so surprised? She thought that without a doubt this marriage would help their family expand their influence and take a higher position in society. It was not difficult for her to make her nephew fall in love with this girl. It was much more difficult to push the Wen family to this wedding. Now the Chen family will be able to cover the Heidong sky with just one hand. She came closer and saw Zhang Tian with Wen Zhu and asked what she was doing there. She turned to Wen Qingshan and asked who is this guy that his daughter is hugging in public. Okay, in front of the public, but even in front of her fiancé. Or is his daughter one of those who kisses and hugs everyone she meets? Where is the education and basic rules of decency? Now with this behavior, she disgraces not only their family. He replied that he did not know who he was. Shanggu and Suzu thought that just now he gave a few words of chat and smile to avoid conflict, and now instead of getting rid of the enemy, his daughter is hugging this guy. And how can she and her family save face? She said that she didn't care. He had to give her an explanation about this. He couldn't allow the Chen family to be humiliated because of his daughter's lack of education. Otherwise, his sister and brother-in-law will be very unhappy. When Qingshan asked her not to make premature conclusions, they need to figure it out first. His daughter doesn't have the personality to act like that around strangers. Why don't they go down and find out for themselves? They went downstairs and he called out to his daughter and asked what she was doing now in the presence of her fiancé. When Zhu called out to her father and then pulled away from Zhang Tian and said that he would not believe her, but this young man who caused the mess is their benefactor. He himself still regretted that he could not thank him. When Qingshan smiled and asked, is he really that guy? He shook his hand and said that he old Wen did not sleep for several nights because he did not thank him for saving him. However, why do they communicate as if they know each other well? When Zhu told him that she asked who he was, by the way, his name is Zhang Fei, and he is very similar to Zhang Tian, whom she was friends with in childhood. Zhang Tian said that it was just a gesture of goodwill, they shouldn't worry about it. He thought that he remembered that when he was a child, when Zhu often took him and his sister to her house to play. Her mother, Wen Liming, was a very kind and caring woman. Every time they came, she prepared a whole table of luxurious and hearty dishes to show her care, and old Wen himself always amused them with funny stories. Chen Tahan approached Shanggu and Suzu and said that she should help him with this guy. He is too arrogant and reckless. He demands to meet his mother immediately. Master Mogan wanted to put him in his place, but he was beaten in just one blow. Shanggu and Suzu told him not to worry. Let her see for herself what kind of rootless dog dared to bark at the Chen family. She came closer and told Wen Qingshan that she was still waiting for his explanation. Why does his spoiled daughter behave like this in front of everyone? Although she herself sees that his daughter is an ordinary simpleton who throws herself at everyone she meets. When Qingshan said that she had better watch what she said, she asked indignantly, is it she who needs to watch her words? What a blessing that the wedding was not a success. And now, on behalf of her sister and brother-in-law, she is going to dissolve the marriage, and she obliges them to return all the gifts they have received. After that, let this couple kneel in front of his nephew and begin to apologize. If they dare to refuse, then let them be sure that none of them will leave this place safe and sound. Tears appeared in Wenzu's eyes, and she asked how could she be so rude. Zhang Tian stood in front of Wenzu and asked, "This means how?" What a coincidence, he was about to demand the same thing. Shanggu and Suzu pursed her lips and said that he was a reckless, impudent person. She called out to Mr. Roman 11 Feng, and he began to go downstairs. He said that their humble servant was already here. Wenzu grabbed Zhang Tian's hand and said that this man's name is Roman 11 Feng. He is the famous chain dog of the head of Chen himself, which is known for its cruelty and sophistication. He has committed many unforgivable crimes, and therefore his reputation in Heidong leaves much to be desired. He was even given the nickname Killer, so let him be careful. Chen Heating told Mr. Roman 11 Feng that he should make him feel the full wrath of their family. Let him not give him an easy death. He thought, how dare he take his bride away from him, and also disgrace him in front of other people. Now he will answer for everything in full. Mogan tried to get up and asked for help. The Chen family's subordinates helped him stand up, and he said that Mr. Roman 11 Feng leaves behind only destruction. Even this little guy cannot oppose him. He can't wait for him to finally die. Roman 11 Feng approached Zhang Tian and said that although they are not enemies, he is obliged to protect the honor of this family. He gives him 3 seconds to think. Let him decide, will he give up or die? Shanggu and Suzu said that they should just look at this puppy. She thought that Roman 11 Feng occupies a special position in the Chen family. To a certain extent, he can speak for the master, so this little one may begin to regret his arrogance. Chen Heating pointed his finger at Zhang Tian and said that he could see he was feeling comfortable, but it didn't matter. Since his Chen family's master appeared, he would no longer have the opportunity to apologize. He turned to Master Roman 11 Feng and said that he didn't have to worry about the consequences, let him just deal with it. Then he pointed his finger at Wenzu and said that she is also a spoiled piece of trash who dares to seduce a man in public, and even in the presence of her fiancé, but it's okay, he will teach her manners. Wenzu said that she doesn't like him at all, so she asks him to break his engagement and never meet again. He asked, does she think that he has become her lapdog and will follow her lead? Or did she forget his last name? Zhang Tian reached out his hand to his face and then began to slap his cheek and asked where the pomegranate he asked for was. Chen Heating took his hand away from him and asked, is he seriously stuttering about a pomegranate at such a time? He turned towards Master Roman 11 Feng and said that let him destroy this madman. Roman 11 Feng walked towards Zhang Tian and asked if he wasn't having a good time. Does he really have the courage to say goodbye to this world? Zhang Tian asked again, where is his pomegranate? Chen Heating felt the pressure coming from Zhang Tian and said that this is such a powerful killing spirit. He was knocked down and asked Master Roman 11 Feng to help him. At the same moment, Si Feng rushed forward, leaving behind cracks on the floor, and one of the guards said that the master had finally made his move and would kill this madman. Another guard said that he was too reckless. This child should have been finished off long ago. Another guard told the others to watch the master's movements carefully. Mogan was happy and said that Mr. Roman 11 Feng is making a move. This child will definitely die. Shanggu and Suzu sat down at the table and said that he is advancing confidently. This is the end. Chen Heating was also happy about the upcoming victory and said that he could already imagine what would happen to this boy. When the master is finished with him, he will slowly and painfully torture him so that he fully realizes who is standing in front of him. When Kingshan thought that although everyone knows that Mogan is a martial practitioner, but Roman 11 Feng is a martial artist who personally serves Chen Badao, the #1 man in eastern China, and he is on a different level. However, it has been a long time since heavenly dragons crushed earthly snakes. Roman 11 Feng used his power and told Zhang Tian that he had made his choice, so let him just die. He noticed something on Zhang Tian's belt and thought, what is it? Very similar to the Winged Cavalry General's belt badge. He remembers in the first battle in the Valley of Dragons, 100,000 winged cavalrymen completely defeated the enemy, after which they returned the previously lost lands in a single march. However, this was the Battle of Duan. Only winged cavalry generals are allowed to wear such badges. When the military campaign was recruiting capable people, he also went to participate in the hope of getting a high position. But unfortunately, he was defeated by Dao Du in the first round. But as far as he knows, the rank of tokens with which cavalry generals are equipped is divided into iron the lowest, and then in ascending order, bronze, silver, gold, as well as the highest rank, which only strong generals have tokens with the red bird of the south. Anyone can buy a black belt like this on this guy on the internet, especially for a suit. He attacked Zhang Tian and said that in their time, young people are too chasing fashion, cheap popularity to appear attractive, but this is all funny. But suddenly he realized that Zhang Tian had disappeared and managed to move to Chen Heating and was surprised. Zhang Tian asked where is his pomegranate. Roman 11 Feng immediately rushed towards him and said that he was a naive idiot, he was about to die, but he continued to act so arrogantly. He will show him his place. He attacked him from behind, but Zhang Tian stood still and waited. His token activated and a shield appeared around him, protecting him from Roman 11 Feng's attack. Roman 11 Feng asked, "What's the matter?" Rumor has it that only high-level cultivation practitioners can create a protective aura. What it is? Bird of the South. He got scared and asked how this could be. Only Emperor Zhang has the right to wear this token. He immediately fell to his knees on Zhang Tian and bowed his head low. Shangguan Suzu was surprised and asked what was going on. What did he do with it? Chen Heating asked Zhang Tian what did he do to the master. Let someone call a doctor. Xu Wai told him that there was an emergency kit in the kitchen. Doctors entered the main hall and told Mr. Roman 11 Feng to hold out a little longer. They would provide first aid and immediately go with him to the hospital. Chen Heating said that the master looked like he was having some kind of attack. Perhaps he had heart problems. Let them not stand like a pillar. Every second counts. The most important thing is not to waste time on helping. They need to go to the hospital immediately. He turned to the guard and told him to hurry up and help Master Roman 11 Feng get to the car. Shangguan Suzu smiled and thought that little Heating has grown up. His actions are consistent and decisive. He decides everything on the spot. The guard ran to Roman 11 Feng and told him not to move. He would help him. Suddenly, Roman 11 Feng stood up and glared at him with all her fury, and then hit him and told him to get away. Chen Heating walked up to him and wanted to ask him something, but Roman 11 Feng hit him too, causing him to hit the table. Roman 11 Feng asked, does he really think that he, like him, has porridge instead of brains? He thought that Chen Badao acted wisely when he associated himself with the Shangguan family, after which he had 2 truly magnificent children, but would these 2 be enough? Shangguan Suzu asked Mr. Roman 11 Feng, is he crazy? What does he allow himself? Si Feng wiped the sweat from his face and said that if she wanted to die so badly, then at least let her not drag him along with her. He thought that it doesn't matter if they are proud and arrogant, they always need to be able to see the whole situation. But it seems that the 2 of them are completely blind, then all this is hopeless. This old man has already done everything he could to show the mountain that stands in front of them, but they are still looking at the sky. Shangguan Suzu indignantly asked, what right does he have to scold her like some kind of servant? Let him not think that she will turn a blind eye to this when her son-in-law returns, But Roman 11 Feng did not let her finish. He hit her in the face, and she fell to the floor, simultaneously knocking drinks and food off the tables. She stood up and asked where all the guards were. Let them hurry up and deal with this old man. But Roman 11 Feng hit her in the face again. Then he started hitting her on the back and thought that even if the power of the Chen family is still flourishing, at best they are one of the king's advisors. Compared to the powerful Emperor Zhang, they are nothing. His power is unlimited. He can only do everything in his power to atone for his previous crime, hoping that Emperor Zhang will leave him his old life. Shangguan Suzu called him an old dog and asked if he was completely crazy when he decided to betray his master to join this pack of dogs. But nothing, as soon as her son-in-law returns, she will deal with him and feed him to the same dogs. Suddenly someone broke down the doors to the hotel with an explosion and Tank ran into the hall. He grabbed her leg and she asked, is he someone else like that? Tank picked her up and said that those who do not respect the emperor must die. He hit her floor with all his might, then lifted her up and hit her again. He stopped and the frightened sighs of the guests and guards were heard from the side. Shangguan Suzu received many injuries and asked him to spare her, but in response, Tank swung his hammer and hit her with all his might. After that, he went to Zhang Tian and said that his brothers were located all around the perimeter. Let him deal with this garbage for him. Zhang Tian smiled and replied that this is not a battlefield, his bad habits are inappropriate here, so let him be more restrained. Tank told everyone in the hotel that he was counting down to one who dared to stand on their feet and come face to face with his hammer. Si Feng immediately fell to his knees and said that he was too scared. Could any of his subordinates have such power? But if this hammer were turned against him, he would be completely crippled and beg for death. Mogan also fell to his knees and thought that this muscular man stood with this young man and treated him with such respect. This child's strength is much higher than the sky he can see. He wants to follow him, he wants to see more. The others also knelt down, and Chen Heating was among them. He turned to Zhang Tian and asked him to spare his life. He had made a mistake. Zhang Tian patted his face and asked where is what he wants. Chen Heating said in fear that he would bring it now. He told his subordinate that they should bring the pomegranate here quickly. No, they better bring the pomegranate tree here. After that, Chen Heating presented Zhang Tian with a pomegranate tree on his knees and said that this is the pomegranate he asked for. Zhang Tian thanked him and said that this is a beautiful pomegranate tree. He will give it to his sister as a gift. Chen Heating said that he should not thank him, by the way. His parents are abroad for now, but they will return soon. Why doesn't he come visit them in a couple of days? Zhang Tian replied that since his mother was not in the city yet, she would come to ask him for a favor. Let him give her this thing and his message. He will return in a month to kill them all. After these words, he threw the tombstone in his direction, and a lot of dust rose. Chen Heating opened his eyes and saw that the tombstone had crushed his legs and was very scared. Zhang Tian walked towards Shengyu and Suzu, and she said that he should not be so self-confident. When her son-in-law returns, he will find him and will be merciless. Zhang Tian said that even before her death, she could not see the Heavenly King. He crushed her head with his foot and headed further towards the exit. After that, he and his subordinate got into the car and Tank asked, now they will go straight for Lady Wushwang. Zhang Tian thought that his sister's real name was Zheng Wushwang. He learned everything he could about her. Finally, he could be reunited with her. The moment he has been waiting for all these years is already close. He replied that this was not entirely true. They arrived at Heidong High School, and Zhang Tian thought that the #1 high school in Heidong is the most prestigious school in the city. Only the best study here. The school also has a ranking system to maintain competition among students. To his surprise, his sister is ranked #1. Now everyone calls his sister Long Yiding. At first, his sister was sheltered by his aunt, but she was unable to protect her from Shangyuan and Chen. In desperation, his aunt gave his younger sister to be raised in one of the orphanages. 10 years have passed. When he left, his sister was a little girl who only knew how to sincerely smile and admire the beauty of nature. Now she is one of the best students in the city. He hopes her smile is still the same. Bandits appeared behind his car. One of them turned to his older brother and said that they say that this younger one looks like the spirit of the lake. Her skin is white as jade, and her voice is beautiful like the singing of birds. Another guy said that she is really the #1 school flower of the high school. He is sure that the boss will be lucky today. Their boss told them to shut up. This little sister doesn't even look in his direction, and they are only responsible for her delivery here, so don't let them make noise. They all know this Pu Xiao, so don't let them hate him because he will forget about their friendship and beat them all up. The guy gave him a glass of drink and said that they didn't want to make him angry. The other guy agreed with him and said they just wanted him to take his mind off things. Their leader said that he repeats, they wait until she leaves the school, then they will follow her to a quiet place where no one will be. The guy called him Lao Hu and told him not to worry. They will do everything in the best possible way. They have already studied her route for a long time, so there should be no problems. He has no experience in such matters, but Pu Xiao promised to write off the debt and throw in some money, so he's here. Lao Hu slapped him in the face and called him cow, said that he was an idiot. Pu Xiao was in love with this girl. He suggested all this so that they would not merge until the very end. Does he really think that everything will be so simple? In any case, maybe they will be lucky, and after all they will get back at Pu Xiao. And now let him go and tell this driver to get out and not interfere with them. Cao walked up to Zhang Tian's car and hit the glass with his fist, saying that he should get his car out of here. It was disturbing his brothers. Zhang Tian said that he should apologize and bring him a cup of tea, then he would let him leave. He thought this group of idiots were starting a riot in broad daylight. Since fate has sent them to meet the emperor, he cannot ignore them. Cao looked into the car and asked what he said there. He politely asked him to get out of here, and he asks him to pour him some tea. He sees that he doesn't lack courage. Lao Hu came closer and told Cao to wait. He will see what kind of idiot dares to ignore their request. Cao pointed his finger at Zhang Tian and said that he asked him to pour tea for him as if he were his mother. The hooligans laughed, and Lao Hu asked why not pour him some tea. He stepped aside and then pulled down his pants and said that he would make sure the tea was hot and fresh. After that, he walked up to the car with a glass of urine, and one of the guys told him that he was so generous. Lao Hu replied that it was nothing special. After all, they were older and should be kinder to the younger ones so that they would not be afraid of them. Zhang Tian did not pay attention to them and looked at the schoolchildren, thinking that according to the information he had studied, she lived somewhere in the south of the city, in the old quarter. The second alley in the south of the city was the residence of his aunt. However, it was demolished 2 years ago, and he doesn't know where it is now. Perhaps if his aunt had secretly sheltered his sister, the residence would have been demolished even earlier. Lao Hu started to get angry and asked Zhang Tian what happened. Doesn't he really see that the elder brought him tea? Why doesn't he come out and thank him? The guy called out to him with a smile and said that classes were over. Here she is. Lao Hu gritted his teeth and said that she was at the wrong time. He poured urine on Zhang Tian's car, and at this time Zhang Wushuang left school with her friends, and one of them thanked her for helping her with her homework. Luckily, she explained those geometry questions to her last time. Otherwise, she would have failed the exam again. They stopped, and her friend told her to look there. There were those stalkers again, who had been following her for several days. Let her be careful. The hooligans went to Zhang Wushuang, and her friend said that they better find a teacher and tell him, these guys are complete scumbags. The other girls noticed the bullies, and one of them told her friend to look. Those guys came to see their number one miss again. Her friend smiled and said that there is so much attention and everything to her alone. In her opinion, it is so unfair. Why don't these guys go after others, but only their Miss Know-It-All? Her friend replied that it was probably because she doesn't refuse anyone. Lao Hu walked up to Zhang Wushuang and asked if she wanted to take a walk with him today. Younger schoolchildren came to Zhang Wushuang's defense, and one of them said that he was allowing himself too much. This was school territory, they could easily intimidate them here. Or do they think that they are above the law and can do whatever they want in broad daylight? Lao Hu grabbed the boy's clothes and asked, does a group of little suckers dare to talk to him about the law? He is the law. He hit the boy, and Zhang Wushuang told them to leave and leave her alone. Lao Hu approached her and said that he would not harm her. Let her not be afraid. He extended his hands to her and said that she needed to go. He would take her for a ride in the car. Suddenly, a woman on a motorcycle drove up to her and told her to quickly get on the motorcycle. Zhang Wushuang called her Master Zia, and they left. Cao told Lao Hu that it was the woman who saved the little one. Why didn't he chase them? Lao Hu hit him and said that he was a complete fool. They were at least on a motorcycle, and he only had a pair of legs. Who should he be chasing here? It's hard in their time without transport, but even so, all is not lost for them. The guy said that hearing it made him feel like he had a plan. Lao Hu said that no matter how fast a monk runs, he still runs to the temple. This girl's father owns a stall at the market in the old quarter. There's a good chance they went there. It just so happens that this is a street food kiosk, which means they can also eat for free. The guy said that he had thought of everything in advance. Cao smiled and said that he was sure that if they followed the elder, they would always be able to eat well and sleep soundly. Maybe someday they would be able to find it. Zhang Tian heard their conversation and said that they would be able to find their death. As time passed, Master Zia carried Zhang Wushuang on a motorcycle and arrived at the stall of Long Duqiang, Zhang Wushwang's adoptive father. Zhang Wushwang told him that she had returned from school. He asked why she came back so early. She could go out with friends, he could manage here on his own. He noticed Master Zia and said that she is also here. He just cooked mutton, let her sit down and try it. Master Zia thanked him and said that, however, she must return. Long Duqiang told her that today is a special day, so let her stay for a while. Zhang Wushwang hugged Master Zia from behind and asked her not to tell her father about the incident at school so that he would not worry about it. After that, Long Duqiang brought a cake and wished his daughter a happy birthday. Master Zia apologized to Zhang Wushwang and said that she did not know that today was her birthday. She congratulates her. Long Duqiang apologized to his daughter and said that he didn't have enough money for a big beautiful cake. Don't let her worry, he will definitely earn some extra money and buy her a good gift. Tears appeared in Zhang Wushwang's eyes and she asked, didn't she tell him not to spend money just like that? He could not even buy this cake. She could easily eat a fried leg of lamb and would already be happy. Master Zia asked why not make a wish. Zhang Wushwang wiped her tears and thought about her first wish. She hopes that her parents will always be healthy and happy. Secondly, she hopes that her own mother is looking at her from heaven and is proud of her. She believes that she has found peace and quiet for herself. Her third wish is to pray that she and her brother will be reunited as soon as possible. But she doesn't know how he is doing, because 10 years have already passed. She hopes he dresses warmly when it's cold, takes an umbrella when it rains, and in general he doesn't get sick and is surrounded by kind and caring people. Suddenly a truck drove up to them and hooligans came out. Lao Hu told the others to look. It's no wonder they ran away so quickly. It turns out it's their birthday here. He took a piece of cake with his hand and then tasted it and spat it out, asking what kind of pathetic egg cake was this. It even tastes terrible and stinks too. He overturned the table and, calling Zhang Wushwang's father a pitiful old man, asked if he couldn't buy anything better than egg pie. Why does he even live like this? Master Zia began to defend the Long family and said that he allowed himself too much. Long Yiding is her disciple, he won't even dare to touch her. Lao Hu grinned and said that he immediately liked her, such a charming lady. Even though she was old, she was very good. Master Zia hit him and told him to shut his mouth. Lao Hu smiled and said that he understood everything, just don't kill him. He told his friends that they should drag this girl into the car. Long Dukyang said that they shouldn't get so excited. Why don't they all calm down and discuss their problems peacefully? He invites all their friends to drink and eat fried lamb in order to somehow smooth out the situation, after which they would calmly talk about everything. Lao Hu said that he better not interfere if he doesn't want to get it. He already works on their territory. He sat down at the table and said that in any case they would not run away anywhere, so let him bring drinks and food here. Time passed, the hooligans began to eat, and Zhang Wushwang apologized to her father and said that it was her fault, it was because of her that they came here. He replied that there was nothing wrong with it, as long as he was here, no one could intimidate her. He already called Dai Kai, so everything will be fine. He thought that this was all an evil fate. When he was rich, those people were afraid to talk to him like that. Although gangsters have changed since those times, now they are less afraid and increasingly don't care about the consequences, they are just scumbags. 10 minutes later, Dai Kai arrived and Long Dukyang took out some bills and asked him to take care of it. Dai Kai took the money and said that there would be no problem with it, he would take care of it, but someone should take care of his empty stomach. He hasn't eaten anything since morning, so let him hurry up and cook some lamb for him. Long Dukyang agreed, and after that Dai Kai started drinking with the hooligans. Lao Hu was delighted at his arrival and said that they had not sat like this for a long time, they needed to get drunk. A moment later, Lao Hu said that it was time for them to end all this, especially since this old man could not do anything. He thought that it was not for nothing that they were in charge of this territory, so he still had to pay him. He will not be able to refuse their offer. He told Long Dukyang that if he gave them his daughter for that night, then he would cut the rent for this month in half. He took out a knife and said that Pooh Xiao will take care of her today and put her to bed on time, so don't let him worry. If he doesn't want to get hurt, then he better hurry up and give it back. Otherwise, don't blame him if a few extra holes appear on his body. Long Dukyang tensed, and then smiled and said that he must be joking. His daughter is only in the first year of high school, she is still a child. He doesn't think it's worth discussing. Lao Hu slapped him in the face and asked, does he really dare to resist him? Who does he even think he is? Immortal or what? Dai Kai said that he should know when to advance and retreat, his current affairs are very bad. He cannot defeat Pooh Xiao, he has money, but he has nothing. Long Dukyang started to get angry and said that he doesn't care, they are all jackals, anyone who touches his daughter will suffer at his hands. Dai Kai got angry and said that he decided to show his true colors at the wrong time. He hopes he realizes what consequences will await him after this. Two guys grabbed his hands and one of them told him to hold him tight so that he wouldn't twitch. Lao Hu spat in his face and said that Pooh Xiao fell in love with his daughter, so this is a blessing for her. He will take better care of her than a worthless old man like him who can't even buy a normal cake. But he decided to resist fate, so he incurred his wrath. He will no longer do business here, he can only blame himself for this. The guy called out to Long Yiding and told her to come with them, he wouldn't be rude to her. Long Dukyang began to struggle and said that he should not dare touch his daughter. He knocked several guys to the ground and then grabbed a folding chair and punched Lao Hu in the face. Lao Hu got angry and then kicked Long Dukyang on the head and told him to know his place. The other guys also started beating him, and one of them said that he had crossed all lines, today his end would come. Suddenly Zhang Wushwang stood between them and told them not to hit her father. Passers-by noticed the noise, and the woman said that she felt sorry for this father and daughter. They needed help. The man told her that this was a bad idea. Lao, who is the tiger of the Taedong night market, this is his territory. No one dares to mess with him here. Suddenly, he noticed the car and told her to look. What is this guy going to do? Shang Tian rammed his car into the hooligan's truck, then opened the door and walked out. He said that a bunch of big guys were bullying an old man and a little girl. And how did they not blush with shame at all? One of the passers-by told her friend Lan Zhai to look there. He was probably one of the most handsome guys she had seen. Lan Zhai agreed with her and said that he really is so handsome. Her friend said that her little heart was beating so hard she should definitely meet him. Zhang Wushuang noticed Zhang Tian, and he reminded her of someone. Zhang Tian walked up to her and greeted her, calling her his sister. She extended her hand to him, and then asked in disbelief, "Is it really him?" He spread his arms to the sides and replied that it was him. He was her brother. He returned to her. She pinched her hand and then said that she was not dreaming. It was really him. She hugged him and said that he came here. He is really here with her. She looked up at him and said that he was unlikely to believe it, but today she wished for them to meet as soon as possible, and here he is. He won't leave her anymore, will he? Zhang Tian smiled and told her not to be afraid. He would not leave her alone again. From today, no one would be able to bully her with impunity anymore. He thought that he is one of the commanders-in-chief of the military forces of this country and has enormous power, but no one knows about this, and everyone thinks that he is an ordinary guy. In the entire country, he is the only one who is called the Emperor of Heaven, only he has such a privilege. And everyone knows that he has 3 golden rules. No one, under any circumstances, can threaten his family and loved ones. Lao Hu looked at the overturned truck and approached Zhang Tian, asking if he was the guy they met at the school gate. What is he doing here? Since he's the eldest, he thinks he can crash a car without consequences. Let him give them 500,000 yuan as compensation. Although he will give him a choice, let him pay or he will leave here without legs. Other hooligans surrounded them, and Zhang Tian, calling his sister Wushuang, said that he remembered that today was not her birthday. So why are they celebrating? She replied that 10 years ago her aunt saved her. In order to remember this special day, her dad made this day her 2nd birthday. Of course, they don't forget their 1st birthday. Zhang Tian said that he wanted to give her something. He walked up to the car and then took a pomegranate tree from there and said it was a gift for her birthday. She took the pomegranate tree and said that it was so beautiful, she was grateful to it. Lao Hu looked at them and asked, "Is he standing here for beauty?" He called Zhang Tian a little freak and asked, "Does he dare to act so arrogantly after ramming their car?" He is furious, and he will not calm down until he beats him to death. Dai Kai told Lao Hu that he should let him talk to this child first. He would try to work things out. He shouldn't get excited and lose money over it. Lao Hu agreed and said that he would only give him 1 chance to settle things. Dai Kai told Zhang Tian that his behavior was unacceptable for the civilized world. He just crashed the car and behaved as if nothing had happened. But they can ask for this rudeness for the first time, however, 1,000 for the old man's head and 2,000 for the car. For a total of 3,000 he can receive their forgiveness. Zhang Tian told his sister that when he was done with this garbage, she should take him to his aunt. He hasn't seen her for 10 years and wants to meet her. His sister wanted to say something about her aunt, but suddenly fell silent, and Zhang Tian asked if something had happened to her. She replied that their aunt was experiencing some problems, but she asked not to tell anyone about it. Zhang Tian said that they will talk about this later when they return home. Dai Kai got angry and said that he is an arrogant brat. Does he really believe that he will return home on his own? Well, looks like they need to bring him down to earth. He called out to Lao Hu and said that this guy is too self-confident, but he is absolutely sure that he is in no way connected with those families of the 1st or 2nd echelon of Haedong City, which means they won't see any money, so the only thing left is to teach him a lesson in all life. Lao Hu said that's great, then they will do it. Let them teach this madman a lesson. Sister Zhang Tian hid behind him and said that she was scared. Zhang Tian told her not to be afraid, he is nearby. Kai walked up to him and Zhang Tian asked, "So what's with the tea he told him to bring?" Tsai raised his hand and said that he would die now, so he would drink tea in the next world. Zhang Tian blocked his blow and then elbowed him and was attacked by another bully. Zhang Tian quickly backed away, avoiding the blow, and hit him in the stomach. Then the other guy attacked him from behind, but Zhang Tian stopped his hand and immediately hit him on the chin. Immediately after that, another guy pounced on him and attacked, but Zhang Tian jumped and landed on top of the guy, pinning him to the ground. Then a man attacked him from behind, but Zhang Tian dodged and quickly hit him. All the hooligans who attacked him fell to the ground, and Lao Hu asked in surprise what just happened. Dai Kai cursed and Zhang Tian asked, "Is he like Lao Hu? He has a couple of questions for him, so could he come over?" Lao Hu called him an idiot and said that he should not think that he is the coolest and there is no stronger person in this city. Just let him make one call and he'll be done. Zhang Tian smiled and said that he was giving him such an opportunity. Lao Hu called someone and told Zhang Tian that his brother would be here soon with his guys. Just let him wait and he would know what it was like to cross his path. Dai Kai told Zhang Tian that he could absolutely tell him that he was in huge trouble. If he had listened to him, this could have been avoided. Lao Hu's cousin, Senior Zainiao, is the boss in this area, and he has several dozen thugs under him. But Lao Hu gives him one more chance. Let him give them his sister and 1,000 from the old man, and crawl to them begging for forgiveness, then they will spare him. Otherwise, once Senior Zainiao arrives, his death will only be a matter of a few minutes. Zhang Tian remained silent and Long Duqiang asked him, "He is Yiding's brother, right? Let him listen to this old man's words. He needs to take his sister and run away from here as quickly as possible. Zainiao is very cruel. No one dares to provoke him. He is afraid that they are powerless here, so it is better for them to leave." He pointed his finger at the building and said that there used to be an internet cafe over there, but the owner of Laoban did not pay for Zainiao's protection. A couple of days later, he was in a car accident and remained disabled and confined to a wheelchair. And this happens to everyone who refuses to pay. Zhang Tian placed the chair on the ground and thanked Uncle Long for taking care of his sister all these years. He sat him down on a chair and told him that now he wouldn't have to work so hard. He was here to protect them and provide them with a decent future, wealth, and prosperity. Dai Kai called Zhang Tian an idiot and said that soon he would not even be able to properly defend himself. But he still counts on this old man's protection for his future. He seems to look intelligent, but for some reason he always talks some kind of nonsense. Long Duqiang told Zhang Tian that if he were in his place, he would have grabbed Eden and simply ran away from here. He could hold them off for a while. Zhang Washuang told her brother that although he knows how to fight, in the end he is alone against everyone. Even a lion cannot defeat 100 jackals. Zhang Tian asked who said he was alone. Behind him are 1,000 elite troops, more than 100,000 seasoned fighters who have marched 1,000 miles across rivers and mountains. Lao Hu laughed and said that now is not the time for bad jokes and loud boasting, but if this is the case, then let him call them all here and prove otherwise. Suddenly several trucks appeared on the street from which people in security uniforms climbed out. Lao Hu said that this is his elder brother Zainiao. Zainiao said that they should bring him this barking dog who doesn't know his place. Lao Hu agreed and then walked up to Zhang Tian and asked, didn't he hear his elder brother? Let him quickly follow him. Zhang Tian slapped him in the face, and then Dai Kai walked up to him and said that he dares to act like this in front of Zainiao. He can see he can't wait to die. Zhang Tian hit him too, and Lao Hu told his elder brother that this guy was completely crazy and decided to ignore his words. Zainiao began to eat the meat and exclaimed, how dare he act like this in front of him? He gives him a choice, either he approaches him or he regrets his stupidity. He counts to 3. He began to count and Master Xia and Long Duqiang were afraid. Master Xia turned to Zainiao and said that she was Xia King from the Xia family. She asks him on behalf of her family and her Master Gu to close his eyes to all this and let them go. She thought that this brother Eden could solve this problem by beating these idiots, but she had no idea that one of them was Zainiao's own brother. They are in a very bad situation that is almost out of control. It will be difficult for them to do anything. Zainiao said that she was from the Xia family and did not know that neither her father nor her master Gu Shuhen dared to talk to him like that, not to mention that she had no right to speak on behalf of her family. Xia King said that Eden is her student, no matter what, as her teacher, she cannot offend her. Zhang Tian thought that she was such a fragile woman, but she was able to withstand pressure and think about protecting others. This is worthy of praise. He thanked her for taking care of his sister and said that from now on he would take care of everything himself. Xia King asked why he couldn't just keep his mouth shut and not say things like that. Will he take care of everything? Seriously. At least he would take care of himself first. Xianiao counted to 2 and Zhang Tian, having finished counting for him, asked, "What next?" Xianiao took a bite of the meat and then turned towards Zhang Tian and said that he was an arrogant idiot. Suddenly, he realized who he was standing in front of and asked why he was here. Is this some kind of joke? In fact, Wang Xianiao turned out to be the head of security from the hotel, but in criminal circles he is known as Brother Yao. He began to shake in fear, and Lao Hu said that this puppy must have shit himself from fear after seeing Senior Yao get angry. He smiled and asked Zhang Tian in front of his brother, does he still dare to act arrogant? Let him hurry up and start apologizing, otherwise his brother will not spare him. Dai Kai said that if only they had all listened to him, this situation could have been avoided. Now let them reap the benefits. These people should finally remember where their place is. Cal stood up and then spat into the glass and told Brother Yao that this brat wanted tea, so let him treat him. Wang Xianiao hit him and asked, is he completely stupid to offer such a thing to this guy? He raised the glass to his mouth and said that he should drink his own tea. Lao Hu asked, what's the matter? Why was he so angry? Wang Xianiao slapped him in the face and asked what was the matter. He seriously asks what's the matter. They dared to offend Mr. Zhang. He started beating him again and said that if he had a lot of spare lives in his pocket, then let him start taking them out, because he would soon need them all. Dai Kai thought, what the hell happened to Brother Yao? From the outside it looks like everything is not in their favor, he needs to leave. He told Wang Xianiao that he still has things to do here, so since he is here, his help is no longer needed, he will go. Wang Xianiao hit him and asked, did he offend Mr. Zhang and decide to leave? He gives him a couple of blows to the face. Dai Kai fell to the ground and asked what happened. Why did he change so dramatically? Is he really afraid of this puppy? Wang Xianiao kicked him and told him to finally shut his mouth. He then ran to Zhang Tian and asked him for forgiveness. He didn't know. He began to bow to him and said that he really did not know that it was he who decided to raise his brother. Let him be generous and forgive him just this time. A passerby asked, is Brother Yao of the Taedong Night Market kneeling in front of this guy? Another guy asked, how could this even be? What's wrong with him? Long Dukang thought that he would never have thought that elder brother Yiding was so incredible. Even Xianiao himself knelt before him, begging for forgiveness. However, Pooh Xiao is behind it all. The power and influence of the Pooh family is no less than that of the Chen family. Two large clans located in the territory of Hayden are fighting for power and using any means. People are consumables for them, so no one crosses their path, especially alone. However, this young man confidently walks towards them. He reminds him of one person, although he was not as young as this guy, but with tenacity and perhaps even recklessness, he could compete with him. Xia King thought that since ancient times, strong sky dragons have not paid attention to earth snakes, and strength is no longer the way to solve problems, and the Pooh family is definitely not a family that this young man can easily offend while still enjoying life. Zhang Tian said that Long Yiding was his sister, and these people treated her cruelly. Not only that, they wanted to kidnap her. So let him tell him what he would do in his place. He hit him and told him to get out of there. Wang Xianiao hit the table, and then Zhang Tian extended his hand forward and told Cao to come here. He pulled him towards him and asked if he could bring him some tea. He squeezed his throat and Sai said that he was very sorry, he was wrong, let him go. Zhang Tian threw him away from him, and then turned towards Lao Hu, and he said that he did all this on the orders of Pooh Xiao. It was all him. It was he who ordered his sister to be kidnapped and brought to him. He was just following his orders. Zhang Tian said that naturally he would find the Pooh family, but later, now he wants to settle scores with him. Zhang Tian grabbed Lao Hu by the hair and dragged him to his car. He stopped next to the door, which Lao Hu splashed with urine and said that this was what was left of him last time. Why doesn't he remove it with his tongue? Lao Hu looked at the car window and said that even if he was reasonable, he couldn't just humiliate a person with such a calm expression. Zhang Tian said that he didn't notice any prudence in him when he dirtied his car. And he didn't understand, is he now seriously trying to put pressure on him? Although he may be right, he will wipe it himself. He hit Lao Hu against the car window and then began to rub off all the dirt with his head. He stopped and said that this was much better. He talked some sense into him. He hit him against the car again, and then looked at his nosebleed and asked, did he also stain the car with blood? So it will take a long time to wipe. What does he think? Lao Hu said that he understood everything. He would clean everything up himself. He started licking the window, and Zhang Qian told Dai Kai to come here. He has 1 second to come up and explain why he shouldn't kill him. Dai Kai immediately rushed to him and, kneeling in front of him, said that he was wrong. His mind was temporarily clouded. He did not understand what he was doing. May he forgive him. He reached his hands towards his shoes, but Zhang Tian did not let him do this and hit him in the face. Dai Kai fell to the ground and Zhang Tian said that he seemed to be so brave and self-confident before. Why then is he now asking for forgiveness? He grabbed him by the throat and then began to hit him in the face with his free hand and said that he should tell him what his fault was. Dai Kai stood up and replied that he was reckless and arrogant. He tried to rise above others using fear and intimidation without thinking about the lives and destinies of people, driving them to the brink. He sincerely repents of this. Let him forgive him. Zhang Tian slapped him in the face and asked, now that he knows for sure that he has done a lot of bad things to others, does he seriously think that he should ask for forgiveness from him? Dai Kai looked up at him and then looked towards Long Dukang. He crawled up to him and grabbed him by the leg, saying that he should not be such a low person as he. Let him forgive him. He is very guilty towards him. Lao Hu finished licking the window and then ran to Long Dukang and knelt in front of him and asked for forgiveness. Let him have mercy on them. They will never bother him again. He will return the protection fee he paid earlier, even several times more. He will try to make things right. Let him give them a chance. Cao approached them and also said that they were all wrong. Let him forgive them. The other bullies began to beg for forgiveness and Wang Xianiao crawled towards Zhang Tian. He knelt down in front of him and said that let him forgive him. He really is not to blame for this whole matter. It's all his brother. Zhang Tian smiled and replied that he never said that he blamed him. Wang Xianiao thought, if he doesn't blame him, then why is he beating him so hard? He's just crazy. Zhang Tian said that every culprit should cut off his own hand, the rest should just break it, then they can get out of here with their lives. He counts to 3. Wang Xianiao began to beg for mercy, but Zhang Tian continued to count and Wang Xianiao said that they were all wrong. Let him take pity on them. Zhang Tian counted to 3 and Lao Hu asked him to wait. Zhang Tian said that he was giving one last chance. Let them do what he said. Otherwise, he will build a small pyramid of their heads. The choice is theirs. The hooligans got very scared and began to think about what to do. Wang Xianiao noticed the bottle on the ground and said that to save his life, he needed to break his arm. He took the bottle and then broke it on his hand and Cao said that this was just crazy. The rest of the hooligans took their blades and Dai Kai raised his blade and then cut off his hand in one fell swoop. The rest of the hooligans followed suit and Zhang Tian said that they could leave now. His sister came up to him and told him he was so amazing, it was over, now they could go home. Zia King asked her to wait and said that she had something to tell her brother. She and Zhang Tian stepped aside and she said that now that he had finished, she would speak directly. He has been gone for several years and has not heard anything about what happened here, but she wants to remind him that this is a Heidong. The forces that rule this city are incredible, far beyond his imagination. The Chen and Pooh families have absolute power. They will not let him go. When the time comes, he will answer for everything. How can he fight with 2 Heidong giants? How can he put Eden at such risk in the future? Now he protected her, but how much? For a day? For a week? How long can he even protect her? His sudden appearance is both good and bad for Eden. Zhang Tian thanked her for taking care of his sister and said that, however, his strength is far beyond even the wildest imagination. He turned away from her, and she said that he was too self-confident. She would see how much his strength lasted. As time passed, Zhang Tian and his sister and her father walked down the alley, and he thought that his sister had lived in such a terrible place in recent years. Rotten pipes, dirty water, narrow street. From this view, he begins to feel guilty about the days. They entered the house and Zhang Tian thought that even the rooms here are so small. The floor is cement and cold, the smell of dust, there is almost no ventilation and air. His sister lives within 4 walls. The sister of the Emperor of Heaven lives in such a place, saving on absolutely everything. Shame on him. Long Dukang apologized to Zhang Tian and said that he did not take care of his sister properly. Because she was with him, she suffered a lot. Zhang Tian told him not to say that. He is a great benefactor to his family. He is grateful that he tried for her, so don't let him blame himself. Zhang Wushwang walked up to them with 2 mugs and told her brother to make himself at home. It's a little gray, but quite cozy. Let him hurry up and drink a cup of hot water to warm himself up. There are no tea leaves at home, so she can offer him tea. Don't let him laugh. Long Dukyang said that they, brother and sister, had not seen each other for many years. They must have something to talk about. Let them take their time while he goes and cleans his clothes. Zhang Tian stopped him and said that he had recently been injured in this brawl. He handed him a small box and said that it was a medicinal ointment that was used for injuries. Let him take this and apply it to his wounds or bruises, and they will heal very quickly. He thought that this was a panacea that the master made for him when he took him to that place. He had suffered countless injuries in battles to the death over so many years, and many more of them were fatal, but this medicine could heal almost any wound. He sat on the sofa and asked his sister where Uncle Long's wife was. Why didn't he see her? Zhang Wushuang asked. Is her mother? She died of illness 8 years ago. For the last few years, only her father has taken care of her, who has become her closest relative. Zhang Tian put his palm on her arm and said that now he is here too. Let her trust him. She has nothing to worry about anymore. He will be able to provide them with a better life, and anyone who dares to threaten them will bitterly regret it. After that, Zhang Tian thought about the Pooh family. It seems he had a couple of acquaintances in the army with that surname. However, he is not one of those who are called merciful, so they will feel his anger to the fullest. Even so, this anger is nothing compared to the hatred of the idiot who kicked his wife and children out into the street, and then pursued them, trying to drive them out of the world. He will sacrifice his flesh and blood to the spirit of his mother. 2 hours later, Zhang Wushuang told her father that she and her brother would go to their aunt. He would be left alone for now. In response, he told her not to worry, let her be sure to say hello to her from him. Sometime later, hooligans broke into Long Dukyang's house, and one of them told him that he owed 5,000 to their company. How long will they have to wait for their money? Long Dukyang asked, was there already an order from Lao, Hu, or Dai Kai about this? Let him call them here. He wants them to demand this money from him themselves. He thought he used to have a lot of money, but he had a bad investment in land and lost almost everything, so he had to borrow money from these guys. But he couldn't even think that the 100,000 that he borrowed would turn into 5,000 in 3 years. The bully hit him and asked what kind of nonsense he was talking about. Does he want to see his elders? He asked for this and didn't even flinch. Isn't he being too arrogant? Suddenly his phone started ringing, and he saw that Lao Hu was calling him. He answered the phone and said that he was at Long Dukyang's house. What he says, he will be waiting for him here. After the call, he pointed his finger at Long Dukyang and told him to rejoice. Didn't he want to see the elders? They'll be here soon, so he'll watch him sing. Long Dukyang called him Hong Mao and said that he will give him one chance. Let him apologize, and he will forget about what he did. Otherwise, when Dai Kai arrives, he will regret it greatly. Hong Mao hit him and asked if he took the wrong medicine today. He dared to speak to him in such a tone. He took out a knife and said that it looked like he should teach him some manners so that he wouldn't behave like that in front of his elders, and they wouldn't think that they didn't work with clients. He wanted to stab him with a knife, but suddenly one of the hooligans said that the elder was here. Hong Mao told the others to make way and went out to meet Dai Kai, Lao Hu, and Cao. Hong Mao told Dai Kai that he was finally here. This old man had completely lost his mind and seemed to imagine himself to be a relative of the emperor, since he so brazenly asked to meet with them. He just wanted to teach him a lesson and help him return from heaven to earth. Dai Kai hit him and said that he was an idiot. If he had even laid a finger on him, he would already be dead. Fortunately, yesterday he asked Brother Yao about this Zhang, and now he knows for sure that he can no longer be angry. He personally defeated the first and second masters of the Chen family, and after that made the young master disabled. Lao Hu kicked Hong Mao and said that he was an idiot. What right does he even have to behave like this towards Uncle Long? He thought that the most important thing at the moment was to quickly settle this incident, to finish everything quietly, otherwise they might lose their heads instead of an arm. Hong Mao rubbed the sore spot and thought, what happened to them? Did they get the wrong medicine too? Dai Kai walked up to Long Dukyang and said that this was a loan agreement that he signed with their company. He's very sorry, he was too busy at the time and didn't notice the mistake right away. His original intention was to give him money at interest, but now he may not return anything to them after all. They are very guilty before him. Then he pointed his finger at Hong Mao and said that he was blind and trusted him, and he decided to change the terms of the loan agreement for Mr. Long behind his back. He still dared to demand 5,000. How long ago did he start looking at the earth from heaven? Everyone in their company believes that kindness and fairness are fundamental, and he hates it when jerks like him think that the rules of the street apply in business. Hong Mao thought, what the hell? Why did they change so dramatically? Are they afraid of something? Lao Hu hit him again and said that he should quickly apologize to Uncle Long. Hong Mao crawled to Long Duqiang and said that he was very sorry, he was wrong, although he has so many eyes, they are all blind, and he dared to offend him. Let him forgive him and not hold a grudge against him. Long Duqiang slapped him in the face, and Hong Mao asked for forgiveness. Long Duqiang clenched his hand into a fist and thought that he had been annoyed by this idiot for the past year, but now he can breathe deeply and not hold back. Time has passed. Dai Kai gave Long Duqiang a suitcase with money and said that this was monetary compensation for yesterday's incident. Let him accept it. He cursed everyone in his thoughts and thought that he paid 2,000 for fried lamb. He could feed several villages with this lamb for a couple of years. His heart bleeds. Long Duqiang slammed the case shut and said that he knew what he did was wrong, but he had already paid for it. Therefore, he cannot take this money, and he has no need for so much. Dai Kai asked, then maybe he can give the money to Mr. Zhang. Long Duqiang disagreed and said that he could do it himself. He would give him the address of where he is now. Lao Hu thanked him and said that he should at least accept this 20,000 yuan. This is the money for yesterday's lunch, as well as for the destroyed trading point. There are tables, chairs, and benches there. Meanwhile, Zhang Tian and her sister arrived at their aunt's house and got out of the car. They went into the yard and saw children beating the boy with sticks. One of them said that they would not play ball with him. He is wild. They are not friends with such people. The other boy agreed with his friend and said that he should not come here anymore. Zhang Wushuang asked indignantly, what are they doing? The children began to run away laughing, and the boy said that they needed to run. This older sister came here again. The boy who was bullied burst into tears and told Zhang Wushuang that he wanted a lollipop. Zhang Wushuang told her brother that this is their aunt's child. His name is Xiaoguang. She approached the child and invited him to come over. He needed to meet his cousin. He hid behind it, and Zhang Tian asked how Xiaoguang became like this. Is it because of his uncle? Zhang Wushuang replied that shortly after their aunt gave birth to him, she noticed that he had a problem with intellectual development. Upon learning of this, their uncle abandoned their aunt and little Xiaoguang, leaving them with almost nothing. Soon after, he became associated with a wealthy family and entered into an advantageous marriage. Many years have passed, but he has never visited his son or even given them any money. Their poor aunt took this child to every major hospital in the country. She can say she lived in them. Xiaoguang did not show any improvement, but their aunt did not give up and continued to fight all these years alone. Shang Tian thought that as a child, this vile fellow no longer gave the impression of a kind and caring husband, let alone the role of a father. Then his mother brought him and his younger sister to Heidong to live, but in fact she came to his aunt in hopes of helping, but as a result they met with great discontent from him. He just didn't expect his uncle to be such a jerk anyway. He's just another scumbag who abandons his wife and child to their fate. After that, they entered their aunt's house and Zhang Wushuang greeted her and asked how she was doing. They went to her bedroom and Zhang Tian thought that her aunt's house was not much better than his sister's. She is a lonely woman pulling a child behind her. The limit of life he can imagine. The aunt greeted her niece and then started coughing and Zhang Wushuang asked, is she sick? She replied that she was fine, she just had a little cold, a couple of days of rest, and she would be fine. She looked at Zhang Tian and asked, who is this? Zhang Tian touched her hand and said that her naughty nephew has returned. He hopes she is not angry with him. His aunt was very surprised and said that this could not be. She touched his face and said that he really came back. 10 years had passed, but she knew that he would return. She wiped her tears and said that he didn't have to say anything, let her look at him. She sees that he has matured very much. He looks healthy and full of strength. She is so happy for him. Zhang Wushuang sat down next to her aunt's bed and said that she remembered how they lived in a 2-story mansion with an area of more than 500 square meters. After the mansion was sold for demolition, she bought 6 houses of 150 square meters each. But why does she now live in such a small apartment? Her aunt replied that it was all because of this idiot who didn't know a damn thing about the real estate market. He also forcibly took most of the property while she was busy visiting doctors. He also spent almost all the money left over from the sale of the mansion on lawyers, so that she was left with nothing. In the end, she had to bring Xiaoguang here to live in this small house. It was quite difficult for her, because all the money basically went towards him visiting doctors. Zhang Tian said that he remembered that all the properties were registered in her name. How did this idiot get involved? He frowned and thought that all these houses were built on a historical site of high value to the country. Their cost is not lower than the cost of the courtyard in Longdu and is estimated to be more than 100,000 yuan. His aunt began to cough and Zhang Wushuang patted her on the back. Then the aunt said that the company of the Pooh family, which this unfortunate person entered into, was a contractor in the construction of houses. They were not new to this matter and easily took possession of her property through fake documents, saying that houses could not be built on this land. And all these houses went to the owner of the land, which was leased to the Pooh family. Zhang Tian thought that her mother passed away many years ago. At that time his aunt was one of the wealthiest women in the city, but then everything went downhill. But even so, a skinny camel is bigger than a horse. His mother and aunt had their own houses, but because of the idiots in their lives, they lost everything. Their house went to the Chen family, and his aunt's houses to the Pooh family. He peeled the apple and told his aunt not to worry about it, let him take care of it. This bastard will pay for everything. Basically like the whole Pooh family. He handed her an apple, and then there was a knock and a man entered the room. Aunt Zhang Tian was happy to see him, and said that Brother Chang was here. She told her nephews to meet him. This is the young master from the Zhang family, and also her friend and ally in this war. Zhang Chang looked at Zhang Tian and asked, "Is he Zhang Wushwang's brother? Looks like he's already a graduate. Where did he train his body like that?" Zhang Tian smiled and decided to ignore him and asked his aunt, "Is she comfortable here?" She nodded and replied that of course she was comfortable. Brother Chan was helping and taking care of her. Zhang Chang, clearly offended by Zhang Tian's disregard, said that he was a proud brat. They justify their relationship with Chen, but they should not think that there are no people higher than them. There is a saying that no matter how high the thoughts or dreams are, the heart still beats in the chest, in the body that is on earth. So he shouldn't be so arrogant, and maybe he should look at things realistically and think about his future. By the way, he forgot to say, he is one of the main people in their company Zhang Hao. They own a chain of restaurants called Jiangxi, and he can help him with his work. Let him come for an interview tomorrow, they just don't have enough workers. He will arrange him as a manager, he will work with the staff. Zhang Tian replied that he would probably refuse. Zhang Chang began to get angry and said that there was this pride again. He must know that they will soon become one of the top 3 restaurant businesses in the entire area. He advises him to think carefully about this proposal. Moreover, the position he offers him is not so easy to get. Dozens of people are vying for this spot in hopes of becoming part of their network. Aunt asked Mom, he just came back and he doesn't seem to be working. Why shouldn't he try? Zhang Tian replied that he actually works and he likes his work. Zhang Chang chuckled and asked, is he working? It's probably some kind of fast food place, but he's touched by his dedication to his business. However, why shouldn't he give it up and go to him? He won't disappoint him. Moreover, he only recently graduated from school, so this will be an excellent start in life for him. He means starting his journey not from the first, but immediately from the second stage. Zhang Tian ignored him again and then brought a glass of water to his aunt and told her to drink it. Zhang Chang asked indignantly, who is this impudent guy? He simply ignores his virtue, but if so, he will not insist. Then there was a knock and Chan's cousin, Zhang Sai, entered the room. He said that there were so many people gathered here. Aunt was not happy about his arrival and asked why he came here. And he is not welcome here, let him get out of here. Zhang Wushwang told Zhang Tian that this man is Zhang Chang's brother. He is a vile type who likes to bully others, especially those who are lower in status than him. However, he has weight in this area. If they want to live here quietly and calmly, then they better not anger him. Zhang Sai said that today he came again to offer them to sell this house to him. Aunt exclaimed, how dare he? Let him get out of here. Zhang Sai asked, why don't he think again? All she does is go to doctors hoping for some miracle. But she does not have the means to pay even the doctors. Then how is she going to pay for this house? And its price is quite consistent with this hole. Xiaoguang ran into the room and called him a bad uncle and told him to leave. He is bad, so don't let him come to his house anymore. Zhang Sai hit the child on the back, causing him to fall to the floor and start crying. Zhang Wushwang asked him to calm down and told him not to cry. His sister was nearby. Auntie got angry and wanted to say something, but she started coughing and Zhang Tian turned towards Zhang Sai. Zhang Chang noticed this and said that if he didn't do anything stupid, he might make Zhang Sai angry. Zhang Chang asked his brother, does it seem to him that he is going too far by coming here and demanding this in front of everyone? Zhang Sai hit him, calling him an asshole, and asked how old he thought he was to talk to him like that. He has buyers for this apartment, and they won't wait long, so the issue will be resolved here and now. And it is in his interests that everything is resolved peacefully. Zhang Chang fell to the floor and looked at his brother in surprise, clearly not expecting a blow from him. Zhang Sai spat to the side and said that he was just useless trash. He turned around, but Zhang Tian stood right in front of him, and he told the others to just look at him. Can such a puppy stop him? Zhang Tian asked again, puppy. Zhang Sai replied that he heard everything correctly. He spat again and said that he was so annoying, let him get out of the way, otherwise he will meet his death. With these words, he wanted to hit Zhang Tian, but suddenly Zhang Tian moved to the side and Zhang Sai hit the bed instead. Zhang Sai hit the bed hard and curled up in pain, and Zhang Tian told him that he was in a good mood today and forgives him, so let him go downstairs and buy some medicine, and then let him get in the car and leave here. Zhang Sai took out a knife and told him not to dare to look down on him, let him try it. The aunt told her nephew to be careful, and Zhang Wushuang thought that this Zhang Sai was like an old child. He always got what he wanted and could never tolerate being prevented from getting what he wanted. But this time it seems he was unlucky. Because of his blind desires, he never learned to understand when he should advance and when he should retreat. Zhang Tian easily moved Zhang Sai's hand to the side and then hit him in the face and was thrown back. He knocked down the door with his body and asked Zhang Tian, how dare he? He is Zhang Sai from the Zhang family. So be it, he will forgive him if he apologizes, otherwise he's finished. But in response, Zhang Tian only waved his hand, causing Zhang Sai to be thrown away and hit the floor. He stood up and told Zhang Tian to just wait, he only needs to make one call today to kill him. Zhang Chang looked at Zhang Tian in surprise and thought that this guy has such ferocity, at the same time such composure, he is like a mighty century-old tree from legends, surrounded by mystery. The aunt told Zhang Tian that he had better take his sister and leave here immediately. Sai is not the one to just leave things as they are, he will definitely come back and bring some scumbags with him. Zhang Tian began to peel the apple and told her not to worry, trash like him is nothing to him, no matter how few or many people he brings. Zhang Chang choked on water at his words and said that perhaps he should think and retreat. The end is the same, maybe he knows a couple of tricks, but no matter how strong the lion is, it cannot defeat a pack of wolves. And as much as he wants to help him with his work, but by taking him away so recklessly, he is afraid that he will not be able to do so, since he may have behavior problems, let him forgive him. Also, although he is his brother, they are completely different. He prefers to solve everything through violence, which is why he knows some people from the broad road. Previously, one young master from the Han family crossed his path. Without even knowing it, as a result, his leg was broken. This happened after he fell from a bridge into the river. Zhang Tian ignored him and told his aunt that within 3 days, the Xianglong group would return her property to her, as well as the money for the demolished house, plus the unpaid profit. Zhang Chang laughed and asked, does he know what he's talking about? Does he know what kind of group this is? It is a huge conglomerate controlled by the Pooh family, the Chen family, and the Shanggong family. Pooh is involved in industry of all kinds, both on land and on water. Chen has strong trade relations with the United States and a couple of economic giants. Shangyuan is in the business of spreading influence throughout China. There are only a few people like them, and there are billions like him, but let him not be afraid. No one here will hear him or call him to account. He can continue to make such loud statements, let him not restrain himself. Meanwhile, Xiaoguang was looking out the window, and suddenly someone threw a brick. A brick broke the window and hit Xiaoguang on the forehead, causing him to fall to the floor. Everyone immediately heard a noise and Zhang Wushuang ran to the wounded Xiaoguang. Zhang Tian walked to the window and saw Zhang Sai and his gang below. Zhang Sai called Zhang Qian an idiot and said that as he sees it, he has returned again. So why doesn't he come down and prove that it was not in vain that he didn't listen to him? Otherwise, he can get up on his own. And he told Zhang Tian not to go. There are too many of them, he might get seriously hurt. Zhang Wushuang told Zhang Tian that this guy doesn't know when to stop. Let him come down and teach him a lesson. Zhang Tian replied that she could rely on him. She didn't have to ask for it. He jumped out of the window and landed in front of the bandits, and then straightened up and a healthy guy appeared in the crowd. Zhang Sai called him Big Brother and said that he is here. He pointed at Zhang Tian and said that this is the guy who beat him up and is now stopping him from getting this shack. He called Zhang Tian a puppy and said that now he sees what strength means. Elder Brother Bao is excellent at counting bones, especially in the limbs. He will long regret that he crossed their path. Brother Bao called Zhang Tian a useless bag of bones that belonged in a trash can. Who is he to interfere with his business? How infuriating he is with these green kids who think they can compete with the savannah. No matter how much they teach them, they still stick to it. He told the other bandits that today was a good day, so let them only break one of his limbs. Moreover, he came here today not for his sake, but for an important matter. He must greet a large figure. To gain his favor, he needs to try hard, so they don't need to delay. He looked at the phone screen and thought that they were already on their way here. He should no longer pay attention to this little thing. He should focus on the main goal. Zhang Sai pointed his finger at Zhang Tian and asked, has he already cast a spell there out of fear of Brother Bao? He can't even say a word. It's not for nothing that he belongs in the trash heap with the same weaklings. Zhang Tian asked, is he deliberately suppressing the instinct of self-preservation? One of the guys attacked Zhang Tian and said that let him just stand still, and then the fracture will be neat and the bone will heal quickly. Otherwise, he will break his bones until he succeeds neatly. Zhang Tian hit him and knocked him to the ground, and Zhang Sai told the other guys to go ahead and let them deal with him and then his friends above. Zhang Tian lowered his head and looked at the bully's stick, then he stepped on it and threw it into the air, and after that he threw it towards the guys, and they fell to the ground, breaking their bones. Zhang Tian asked which one of them threw the brick. Zhang Sai told Brother Bao that this crazy man was completely crazy, he had to deal with him. Brother Bao looked towards Zhang Tian and asked, is this idiot so problematic? The rest of the gang rushed forward, while the others watched from the house. Aunt said he brought so many people. How can little Zhang Tian do anything to them? Zhang Cheng said that he was an arrogant idiot. He should have listened to his elders and not angered the savannah leopard Bao. Now no one will help him. At this time, one of the bandits attacked Zhang Tian with a knife, but he quickly punched the bandit and then turned around and punched another one. After that, he jumped to the side, dodging the blows, and then two guys with knives attacked him at once, but Zhang Tian jumped and avoided the blow. After that, he kicked and the guys below were blown off their feet by his force, and when Zhang Tian landed, the guy with the bat attacked him, but Zhang Tian hit him and he fell to the ground. After that, another guy attacked him with a knife and wanted to hit him, but Zhang Tian grabbed his hand and slammed him to the ground. After that, he threw it aside and Brother Bao asked what the hell. How can an ordinary person do this? Looks like he underestimated him. Zhang Tian straightened his clothes and said that he was repeating his question. Who threw that brick? Zhang Sai remained silent and Brother Bao, pointing his finger at him, said that it was him, it was all him. He wanted to deal with him. Zhang Sai raised his hands in fear and said that he didn't want to hurt anyone, he just wanted to talk to him. Zhang Tian immediately hit him and Zhang Sai fell to the ground, starting to cough up blood. Immediately afterwards, Zhang Tian waved his hand and cut off Zhang Sai's hands. He looked at his hands in horror and Zhang Tian told Brother Bao that he now has a different question. Is he at the same time with him? Because otherwise he would not have ordered his guys to break it. Brother Bao waved his hand and replied that this was some kind of mistake, he didn't even know him. Suddenly his phone rang and he answered the call. Some guy asked how he was doing with that Zhang Sai puppy. Although a big guy like him shouldn't have any problems. Brother Bao replied that everything was not as simple as it seemed to him from the very beginning. He came across a wall, against which a couple of heads had already been smashed. The guy asked if someone really dared to do bad things to his younger brother and his guys. Well, it's okay, let him wait. He will soon be there and help him dismantle this wall to the ground. Brother Bao smiled and told Zhang Tian that he was definitely finished now. His elder brother would be here soon, and he would fully feel what happens to those who encounter the savannah. However, he is not such a bad guy. He admits that everyone can make mistakes, so he will give him one last chance to apologize, and then treat him to something tasty and pour a glass of something stronger. He approached him and asked, well, what does he think? And isn't he loyal enough to him after everything he did here? In response, Zhang Tian hit him in the face and he fell to the ground. Zhang Tian sat down next to him and said that his so-called savannah is nothing more than newborn kittens for him, who still don't really see anything, but are already creating a lot of noise. However, he is so proud of it, so for now he will return to the house and wait for them upstairs. He headed towards the house and Brother Bao said that he could pretend as much as he wanted, but he would immediately understand who they were and what they were capable of when his brother was here. A little bit later, Zhong Chang exclaimed, "What the hell is going on here? Why is Brother Bao helping his idiot cousin?" This also means that the White Tiger could also be involved in this, and from here it's not far to Wang Xianiao, one of the trusted persons in Tiandu. The Tiandu Hotel is owned by the Chen family, and the Chen family is headed by the executioner Chen Badao, essentially one of the owners of Heidong. But the worst thing is that his elder brother is a partner and friend of the Chen family. It turns out that this is a kind of provocation on their part. This time it had gone too far. He would have to ask his elders for help before things got worse. Aunt said it was a great idea. It's good that he has connections and position in the family. She hopes the elders will help them resolve everything and settle everything quietly and peacefully. Zhong Chang told her to wait. He would try to solve everything. He called the elder and said that they had not spoken for a long time. "How's he doing?" "As a business." He apologizes for bothering him. After the call, he told his aunt that his elder replied that he would help, but he asked Zhang Tian to go down to Brother Sai and Brother Bao and ask for forgiveness. When he begged him to help them, he said that this was the only way out of the situation. Zhang Tian ignored him, and Zhong Chang said that he understands that he is not used to apologizing, but let him follow him down. They don't need to make them wait, and what's worse is forcing them to go up themselves. Zhang Tian replied that he told this kitten that when all his kitten brothers came, he could go upstairs to join them. Zhong Chang asked in shock, what did he do? Is he crazy? When will he see this mountain in front of him? He will destroy them all. He asked Aunt Zhang Tian, did she see everything herself? If she leaves everything like this, then they will not stop. They will get to all her family and friends. After that, Brother Bao's voice was heard outside the door, and he told his elder brother to come in. This guy is here. Dai Kai knocked down the door and said that he would like to look at this madman who dared to speak loud, impudent words to his brother. Brother Bao said that now this brat will regret his words. He's standing there. Dai Kai walked up to Zhong Chang and he began to wave his hand, saying that it was not him. He pointed his finger at Zhang Tian and said that it was all him. Zhang Tian stood up from his chair and asked, was someone looking for him? He ate a piece of apple and said that he immediately thanked them for coming up here themselves and not bothering him to go down again. Dai Kai and Lao, who were scared when they saw Zhang Tian, and Brother Bao said that he was showing off. Now he's finished, he can start apologizing. He asked the elder, is he right? This brat was too careless and dared to insult them and all their brothers. They can get him out of here and explain where his place is. Dai Kai trembled with fear and then hit Brother Bao, and he asked why he hit him. Did he do something wrong? Dai Kai hit him again and asked him what he was talking about. Mr. Zhang is a very important person and is highly respected in their circles, and he dares to slander him. Or does he imagine himself above everyone else? Maybe they should feed it to stray dogs so others don't forget their place. Brother Bao thought, could this be the guy who crippled his older and middle brother yesterday? Well, why was he so unlucky to run into him? Now it's definitely the end for him. He needs to somehow correct the situation. He told his older brothers that it was not his fault. He grabbed Zhang Sai by the hair and then threw him to the floor and said that it was all him, it was all his fault. Let Mr. Zhang not be angry with him. He knelt in front of Zhang Tian and said that he was wrong. His vision left him for a moment, and he could not immediately see the great mountain, but he tried to pass through, trying to harm him. He hopes he won't hold a grudge against him and let him go this time. Dai Kai and Lao, who immediately fell to their knees, and Dai Kai said that he should take the money they owed. Since he has a big family, they dared to add more money on top, so let him accept these 2 checks. Zhong Chang thought, what's going on here? He gave him 10,000. His salary is less than 10,000 a month, and sometimes there is a bonus, which means not eating or drinking for 100 years. Zhang Tian said that he sees that he is not devoid of common sense. Let him put the money on the table, and then he can go, and also let him accept his gratitude for taking care of his family. Dai Kai put the receipts on the table and replied that he didn't need to thank him, it was all nothing. They headed towards the exit, and he said that they were leaving now. Evening came, the whole family gathered at the table, and Zhang Tian said that he plans to divide this check for 10,000 into 2 parts, 5,000 each, one for his aunt, one for his second uncle, one for each person. His aunt said it was too much. He had already done a lot. Zhang Wushuang told her aunt not to worry about it and let her not refuse. This is money for her son so that she can cure him of his illness. Long Dukang said that he would take the money even though he didn't deserve it. He could not become a worthy father for his daughter, but he will try to become the best and increase this money for them. And no matter what the weather is outside and how much money he has in his pocket, this family warmth that he feels at this table cannot be measured by any gold in this world. He will take these 5 million and go to the mountain to rise again. He thinks that in the past he ran his business actively and tried to achieve greater results in less time and with greater risks, and often trusted people because of whom he lost everything overnight. He never reached the top, but even after the fall he couldn't stop thinking about it. He says that in 3 years he will pay him back $5 million, maybe even more. Zhang Tian says that he believes that he will succeed. He is looking for something in his inner pocket. He takes out his phone and someone asks him, is he the freak who is bothering him? Zhang Tian asks, does he understand that this is Pooh Xiao? The man who calls him is sitting on a sun lounger surrounded by many girls. He laughs and asks this freak, did he know who he was going against, but still continued to ruin everything? He even begins to respect him, but no more. He's very busy, so he'll get straight to the point. He invites him to come to him and explain himself for his actions, and he must believe that it will be better if he comes to him than vice versa. Zhang Tian says that he can make an appointment for him then. Pu Xiaogu laughs and says that he is funny. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, he will be waiting for him at Xingwen, and he shouldn't be late. By the way, if he still doesn't come, then the consequences for deception will be very serious. He ended the call, and the person who approached him said that he couldn't understand. Why did he decide to call him personally and talk? Wouldn't it be better to immediately take a couple of their guys from the wide road and sort it out, and then kidnap his younger sister? Pu Xiaogu says that he doesn't understand, it's fun, it's not every day that you see something like this, and he's very interested in looking at this guy with 3 heads and 6 arms. He squeezes the glass in his hand and breaks it. Sometime later, someone comes to your aunt's house and asks, is there anyone there? The month ended, and he brought her salary. Aunt apologizes and says that she must go down to get the money. She leaves the house and sees a man with some girl. The man holds out an envelope and says that here is her money. Auntie counts the money and says that there is not enough. Why is $210 missing here? Her salary is $1,500. The man says that there is nothing to be surprised about. Or does she think that if she is sick, they should pay as if she was working? Besides, a part was also deducted due to the partial month of work, so she should not blame them. He smiles, looking at the girl standing next to him. She says that not only does she work poorly, but she is also trying to prove something to them. The aunt says that, however, according to the rules of the company management, employees who are on sick leave cannot have anything deducted from their wages. So why did they do it twice? The girl got angry and asked if she wanted to say that it was their fault that she received so much. If they have any grounds, then she can sue the company. There are other people in the company, and unlike her, they are afraid of losing this job, so it's better to accept everything as it is, or tomorrow she will have to look for a new job. Aunt loudly says that they allow themselves too much and violate almost all the rules of the company. The man says that she should take her money and just silently continue doing her job. She should already be grateful that she received at least that much. Zhang Tian approaches him and says that he hates jackals who withhold employees' salaries to line their own pockets, so he will give them a chance to become human again. The man asks, who is this idiot talking behind his back? He should say it to his face. He turns around and sees Zhang Tian with his sister and Long Dukang standing next to them. The man smiles and asks, is this the same old man, Long Dukang? This little guy is his friend, looks like him, they're a bunch of poor people, they shouldn't mind their own business and get out of here, otherwise he doesn't have time to finish because Dai Kai hits him in the face and asks this idiot how dare he talk like that to a respected gentleman. The man fell to the ground because of this blow and was surprised by what happened. He bows to Zhang Tian and says that he was right behind that green bush fence. When he heard this dog start barking too loudly, and he, as the owner, had to teach him a lesson. The girl asks who is he that dares to be Mr. Guo Huang. Dai Kai hits her in the face with his palm. The man stands up and asks why is he here. The girl asks what is he saying. Could this man be a major shareholder of the company, Mr. Dai Kai? He says that he heard that they are secretly deducting workers' wages. The salary that their company pays to the cleaners is $2,500 a month, and they freaks pay a little more than half. He asks Zhang Tian how he wants him to deal with these idiots. The man gets up and says that he shouldn't be angry about this, that is, they are to blame, but it's not the end of the world, and especially since it's all Mr. Daikai's fault. Zhang Tian kicks him in the head and throws him up. The man falls to the ground with a loud sound. He says that he is such a bad master that his dogs are ready to eat him himself. It is surprising that he is one of the main ones in the savannah. Daikai says that this is not true. These dogs may have contracted rabies somewhere. Since they are doing this in front of him, he will quickly euthanize them, and will also check all the employees of their company for similar rabies. Zhang Tian tells her aunt that since she is the only one injured, she needs to decide what to do with them. The man says that they were wrong, they stumbled, but she should be supportive and give them a chance to improve. Auntie says that she is against violence, so she is giving them a chance, but she wants them to be paid according to company rules and people get what they rightfully deserve. Dai Kai says she doesn't have to worry. These two are embezzling other people's money, trespassing on property, and seem to be involved in something else, so they only have one way to go. At the same time, Wen Qingshan says that the storm has already stopped. He wonders how the investigation is going. What happened to this young man and where is he anyway? The relationship between the Wen family and the Chen family has been damaged ever since he injured the young master in the hotel. Shengyu and Nalen return from abroad. Chen Badao will also return to the country soon. When they are reunited, they will certainly not let their Wen family go just like that. If we add here hidden enemies from the past, then this could mean the end for them. And no matter how funny it may sound, the only one who can help the Wen family get through the difficult pass is an 18-year-old guy. Wen Zhu tells Dad that he should look at this photo. When Qingshan asks, "What is this? Is he really Chen Badao's son?" She says that now it has become clear why he was in the cemetery then and crippled the guys from the Shengyuan family for desecrating the grave. When Qingshan drinks alcohol and says that it's ironic, now he and Badao's son will confront Badao himself, so to speak, sailing in the same boat. When Zhu says that to her amazement, Brother Zhang must have simply not recognized her back then. But why did this happen? Because they grew up together, and besides, 3 years ago, he actually saved them. Including that day in the hotel, they met again as strangers. When Qingshan says that he must have gone through a lot in the past 10 years that he was away, otherwise he would not have been able to deal with the two eminent masters so easily. It's probably not his fault, maybe he just had to give up all his family and friends so that he could reach such heights and gain such power. There are a lot of them, many of those who gave up everything, those who sinned, those who betrayed loved ones and friends, those who lost everything in order to later try to get everything. However, only a few achieved success and were able to take a high place in this world. And no one knows who will succeed tomorrow. He looks at Wen Zhu's face and asks, so judging by her reaction, this little boy is still alive in her memory? Maybe then ask him to become her bodyguard. Or for him to teach her a few lessons in self-defense. When Zhu blushed and asked what he was talking about, she runs away and says that she won't talk to him anymore at all. She thinks that, however, her father is right. Having met him again, strange feelings flared up in her. Sometime later at the Chen family's house, Chen Heating lies on the bed and asks his mother to avenge him. Shangyuan Nalen is surprised by what she sees. She gets very angry and tells Chen Badao that he is a rich and powerful man, but it is all his fault. She breaks the vase and says that they had to completely get rid of the roots of the rotten tree to avoid today's disaster. If they had done it right, they wouldn't have to pay such a price after so many years. And her son would not have suffered. There is also the Wen family, who chose some freak over them. This angry mother will not let them go. The elder of the Chen family, Chen Tak Wang, comes into their room. Shangyuan Nalen asks his uncle why he came here. She thinks he has some influence in his family, but he always takes the path of least resistance. Because of this same old man, she herself cannot gain even more influence in this family. Chen Tak Wang says that because of her careless actions in the past, his grandson is dying. He heard that Zhang Tian did this to him. He couldn't even do anything to him. He lost not only his legs, but also found a very terrible enemy. He has known that Roman 11 Feng is a master for many years, but he has never seen him like this. It is obvious that the opposing party is too strong, and he does not know who is behind him. His Chen family cannot afford to provoke him. He told him more than once that he had to be a man, be reserved, and be careful in his words and actions. They are smart, insightful, conquer markets, and they always said that no one would dare go against them and their family. But for some reason less and less people shake at the mention of their family. Shangyu and Nalan got angry and slapped him in the face. She tells this old man that he has done everything except landscaping. He's already tired of his mad barking. All he does all the time is that he's afraid of people. Whether he believes it or not, but for the sake of her family, if necessary, she will personally shoot him and declare war on everyone. Chen Tak-wang is surprised by what happened and asks, did she dare to hit him? She is completely out of her mind, just as crazy as her late father. Someone should throw this crazy woman out of here and not let her in. He turns around and notices that his guards are standing still. He asks, are they deaf? Can't they hear what he ordered? Shangyu and Nalan asks who he thinks he is. She calls him uncle only because he is an old man from a noble family, but it seems to her that he is just an old dog who should have been put to sleep long ago. For her, neither his name nor his position matters, and he has already lost any power here. They must grab it and not let go. He lives so long that sometimes it seems to her that he is immortal. But every year of his life, he sticks his head deeper into the ground in the hope that no one will get to him, and this infuriates her most of all. Chen Tak-wang asks what she allows herself. Shangyu and Nalan slaps him in the face and asks if her son and sister were so maimed, and he says to leave it as is. And moreover, he also blames her for the poor upbringing of his son. How can he even say that he is from the Chen family? Chen Tak-wang coughs and says that she should not forget that he is also one of the important members of the family and is also the leader's uncle. She is stupid and spoiled. She will destroy their entire family with her rash actions. Shangyu and Nalan points a gun at him. She asks, will she destroy the family? Then perhaps it will start with him. She shoots Chen Tak-wang. She says there will be no turning back now. Where is Chen Lao now? Has he already returned? The man says that he will return only next week. Shangyu and Nalan thinks that he is a small animal. She will let him live an extra week. No matter what Zhang Tian has achieved in the past 10 years of absence, if he wants to come to her to take revenge, then he should make sure that she will not discuss him with death. Sometime later, Zhang Tian tells her sister that if anyone dares to bully her at school, then she can tell her. Zhang Wushuang asks who would dare to bully her if he is protecting her. By the way, he's been gone for so long, maybe he's already got a girlfriend or even gotten married. Zhang Tian says that she would rather think about studying than about getting married. He weakly hit her on the nose with his finger. Zhang Wushuang is offended and says that the big boy should be married and the big girl should be married. What's wrong with what she said? Someone drives up to them in a jeep and stops next to them. The tank sitting in the car says that she said everything correctly, she likes it. By the way, he fulfilled his request and has already dealt with those guys from the wide road, but not without help. Old man Guan, when he found out what those guys did at the cemetery of the Western Mountain, almost went crazy with anger and personally took up the matter. Where are his manners? His name is Shang Shuang, but for her he's just Uncle Tank. His task is to guard her old brother day and night. Since this is their first meeting, he has prepared a small gift for her. He hopes that she will accept it, otherwise the elder will be angry that he is giving something unnecessary again. Zhang Tian slaps him in the face and tells this idiot that he is older than him. So why did he suddenly become an old man? Tank tells Zhang Wushuang that she doesn't have to worry. Although he says that he is older, he is only 25 years old, so it's not that scary. Also, if something happens to her, she can immediately contact him. He will help. Zhang Tian hits him again and says that he should stop talking like that and embarrassing her sister with his friendliness, and if he calls him elder again in front of her, he will rip his head off. Zhang Wushuang says that he shouldn't worry. She already knows that he is older than her brother. She actually thought that he was already over 40 years old. Sometime later, Tank rides in the car and tells Zhang Tian that he bought a house for him in a high-end area, a special house overlooking the sea of the Tide Garden. He just got home, but he doesn't even have a place to stretch his legs and relax. Zhang Tian says that as he sees it, he has started following him again. Maybe he also installed wiretapping. Tank smiles and tells the elder that this is all for his own safety. They continue to go somewhere. At school, the girl tells Eden that the class teacher asked her to come to her office. Zhang Wushuang comes into the office and asks Mrs. Wen, was she looking for her? Her class teacher turned out to be a young girl in a business suit. She thinks she was influenced by her father after graduating from college. She came to Haedong No. 1 Secondary School as a language and literature teacher. On the very first day she came to school, she found out that Zhang Tian's younger sister was studying here and became her class teacher. Zhang Wushuang thinks that teacher Wen is looking at her very closely. Did she really do something wrong? The teacher asks, where is her brother? Zhang Wushuang walked away from her and asked how she knew that her brother had returned. Teacher Wen says that she heard about it by chance. So why shouldn't she introduce them? Zhang Wushuang laughs and tells the teacher that she didn't know that she was interested in her students' older brothers. Or maybe just her older brother. She thinks that teacher Wen has cared about her very much over the past few years, and she could always talk to her when she was having a hard time. To her, she's like the big sister she never had. If she could become her bride, that would be very good. Teacher Wen asks, is this how she likes to embarrass her teacher and make her blush? She doesn't need anything from her, she can handle it herself. Zhang Wushuang says that's not what she meant, she shouldn't be angry. But since she decided to do everything herself, then she won't need to introduce them anymore, right? The teacher asks if she can stop this already. Physical education teacher Song Zheng comes to them and tells the teacher that he has finally found her. Zhang Wushuang tells teacher Wen that she should probably go back to class. Song Zheng says she should wait. He had just overheard from outside, while walking here, that her brother was going to pursue Master Wen. What does this even mean? Teacher Wen says he got it all wrong. Long Yiding should hurry up and go back to class for her lesson. Zhang Wushuang agrees with the teacher and leaves the office. Song Zheng tells teacher Wen that she should look at it. There is a big Hollywood movie premiering this weekend in the evening. They can go there. It wasn't easy for him to get these 2 tickets, so she has to say. What time should he pick her up? Teacher Wen says that he can't even hope for it. She doesn't have time for that. Song Zheng says that she rejected him many times. He has sincere feelings for her. Is it all because of this Long Yiding's brother? Is it because of him that she so resolutely refuses him every time? Wenzu says that this is her personal matter and it has nothing to do with him at all, so he should leave the office and do his work. Song Zheng came out very angry and left the office. He notices Zhang Wushuang and thinks that she decided to become a matchmaker for her brother and set Wenzu up with his woman, but nothing, he will still show this freak who is in charge here. He wasted a lot of money on tickets. The student tells Long Yiding that she heard people whispering that Zhao Zai was going to find her after school and cause trouble. She is the queen of the school bullies. Her cousin is one of the kids who call themselves the High Road. She should be careful. Zhang Wushuang says that if this is true, then there is nothing to worry about. The student says that she shouldn't be so calm. This Zhao Zai always mocks her and people like her, because compared to them, she always doesn't look very good, and it infuriates her. And as the first star of the school, she always received more attacks from her side. She is surprised at her optimism after all this. Zhang Wushuang says that this Zhao Zai was her headache. She put up with it for a long time, but now she doesn't need to do that, and she will deal with it. She thinks that with her brother's protection, even heaven doesn't seem so scary. The student is surprised and asks, did she say she would figure it out? What is she saying? After some time in the physical education room, the guy carries a plate of fruit and brings it to Dai Kai and Lao Hu. They say that, and here they are again, after so much time. He swore that he would never return here again. He dislikes this place so much, but life decided differently. The two of them are here to pose in front of Mr. Tintus the Zheng, to prove that they are not his enemies and can do something for him. Even if this is so, he is infuriated by the fact that they suddenly became hostages and lost their freedom, like immortal monkeys imprisoned for thousands of years. Song Zheng comes to see them. He says his name and says that he is a physical education teacher at this school. He heard that 2 respected gentlemen came here for some important reason. He was incredibly pleased to see them in Huidong. In honor of their meeting, he wants to invite them to a bar to show his respect. If this is possible, he will try to provide support in their difficult and very important matter. What do they think about it? He holds out the cigarettes and thinks that although he doesn't care why these 2 elders of the savannah are here, but if he can be useful to them, then he will have the opportunity to become a step higher in this world, and he cannot miss this opportunity. Dai Kai refuses a cigarette and says that they are not in the mood to go somewhere, especially since they have an agreement for them to stay here. Song Zheng says that then he will not impose himself. Everything here is at their complete disposal. If they need anything, they can immediately contact him. He thinks that if anyone can send these 2 to do something, it would be someone at least below the level of Masterland. If he was lucky enough to prove himself, Wenzu would surely look at him differently. Dai Kai tells this idiot that he is acting like a rooster. He is open here and thinks that he can help them. Does he really think that if they need something, they will call him and not just take it themselves? He shouldn't make them angry and waste their time on such nonsense. And it would be even better if he leaves here so that he doesn't see him here, because he only spoils the mood even more. Sometime later, many disciples gathered around Zhang Wushwang and her friend. Someone asks who they have here. One of the girls stands and smokes a cigarette. This is Heidong Yizhong's daughter, Tao Lu's cousin, Zhao Zai. Zhang Wushwang's friend tells her that if she doesn't stop pestering Long Yaidai, she will regret it. Zhao Zai asks loudly, does she dare to threaten her? It would be better for her to shut up and not even make a squeak, otherwise her life will become very fun. Zhang Wushwang comes between them and says that she should not touch Zio Lai because she is here to find her. Zhao Zai laughs and asks when she managed to become so brave, is it really because of her brother? Although to be honest, she didn't care and it wasn't her who was looking for her, she was simply asked to help organize the meeting. This surprises Zhang Wushwang very much. The guy comes up behind her and puts a bag on her. Zio Lai tries to warn her about this, but does not have time, and they are both caught. Some time later, she runs to the school and tells teacher Song Zheng that he should go faster with her. A person is being kidnapped there. They are going to kidnap Long Yiding. He asks why is she screaming so loud. Does she even know who is in his office right now? She must shut up and leave here, otherwise she will be punished. Zio Lai tells the teacher that if nothing is done, Long Yiding will be kidnapped and there is no telling what can happen to her. Song Zheng says that she should stop this, most likely she did something stupid, and now she made up the kidnapping so that she would have an excuse not to come to school. Zio Lai says that what she said is true, she saw it with her own eyes. Song Zheng says that she should go and talk such nonsense elsewhere because he doesn't believe her. Zio Lai grabs his hand and says that he must do something, otherwise Long Yiding might get hurt. She really got involved with bad people. Dai Kai ran up to her, pushing Song Zheng away and asks what she just said. Who did she say was kidnapped? Zio Lai says that she was talking about Long Yiding from class 3-1. This really surprises the guys and they ask who did she tell. Song Zheng says they shouldn't listen to that little girl. Who would dare kidnap a student from school during the day? This all sounds too far-fetched, so they shouldn't worry and can continue to rest. Dai Kai slaps him in the face and tells him to shut up. He must pray that this turns out to be a joke, otherwise he is afraid to even imagine what Senior Zhang Qian might do to him. She must get them there quickly. Zio Lai agrees with him. They come outside and go to Zhao Zai. She points her finger at her and says that she was the one who kidnapped Long Yiding. Dai Kai gets really angry and asks who is she. Zhao Zai gets angry and asks this Stark how dare he open his mouth to her. Does he not know who she is, or maybe he wants problems with people from the wide road? Dai Kai gets angry and hits her in the face with his palm. Zhao Zai tells this freak that he dared to hit her. She hopes that he understands that after this, he will not leave here so easily. Why are they all standing still? They must capture him. The guys standing next to her froze due to indecision. One of them whispers in her ear. Zhao Zai is surprised and says that this cannot be. She kneels down and says that she hopes that he will forgive her. She hasn't seen him for so long and didn't recognize him right away. Dai Kai says she should stop saying things like that. Where is the girl she kidnapped? He thinks that he wanted to show his usefulness, but showed his incompetence. If he does not bring the head of the freak who came up with all this, then he may lose his second hand. Zhao Zai says that it's all her brother. She was taken by her cousin Eulogy. She doesn't know where he took her, and doesn't know where to look for him. She hopes that he will spare her. She could not disobey him. Dai Kai asks, is this the same freak Eulogy who recently became the 8th brother? So, while their master is away, these guys decided to play as adults. This is very interesting. He and Lao who make a phone call. They say they can't get through to any of these idiots. Something doesn't work out. This Eulogy only recently became the 8th brother, and his position is the worst, which means he cannot have power, much less courage. And from their own experience, they know that without protection and information, it is too risky to carry out such cases. Lao Hu says that it is because someone is standing behind him that he has become so bold that he is already stealing people in the middle of the day. He is either completely crazy or incredibly fearless, but clearly not immortal. He knows almost all of this guy's spots and hiding places. They will search them all, each one by one, until they find this rat. At the same time, Tank tells the elder that everything is done. This is the best mansion that is on top of the mountain, and now it belongs to him. From here, there is a beautiful view that gives peace and tranquility, which they are deprived of. Here he could settle down, start a family, and live happily ever after. By the way, it would be possible to settle the young lady nearby. CH Dantian says it sounds too good to be true. He holds in his hands what he is thinking about. Black robes of the Elder, the ancient Dark Heaven sect, which today is known as the elite closed club Black Dragon. But few know this story. Most likely he tried and brought 2 robes, an Elder and a General. This is very good. He takes it and says that it brings back memories of those days. I wonder how Jane is doing. She must have become even more beautiful. Now they can go. It's time to look at this Pooh Xiao. Some time later. Many people are walking towards a large building. A car is driving towards these people and driving through the square next to the people. The guy asks, who is this madman who is so boldly and unceremoniously driving around the domains of the Pooh family? This man has gone crazy. This is the elite star club of young Master Pooh Xiaogu. A guy goes to the car and says that whoever he is, it would be better for him to rub his eyes and start asking for forgiveness for his impudence. He doesn't seem to know what this place is right. He must hurry up and get his car out of here. Someone stops him and says that he will figure it out himself. Manager Wang Lao says that all the townspeople know not to come here because it might lower the status of this place, so stop rubbing your eyes here or whatever he's doing. He should get his car out of here. Shang Tian opens the car window and says that he ate a banana here, and there was no trash can anywhere nearby, so he decided that he could eat here. So could they throw away the peel? He thanks them in advance. Wang Lao gets angry and asks if he understands where he is and who he is talking to. They must get out of the car and begin to regret and ask for forgiveness, otherwise he will not leave here today on his own 2 feet. Zhang Tian holds out the peel and says that he asked him to throw it away. Wang Lao says that this is the mark of the elite Black Dragon Club, that means. He is shocked and thinks that this is the Dark Heaven sect, who told him that this is one of the most mysterious and influential organizations in Great China, possessing terrible power that no one dares to provoke. Judging by the stories, if members of the sect personally take up the matter, then new rivers of blood appear. According to legend, this sect was founded on the mountain of the Heavenly Dragon, and all its affairs are related to the interests of the country, as well as prosperity. They have limitless resources, many assets in all areas of activity, and all members of this sect are close to the emperor and are a kind of bodyguards. He notices the tip on the sleeve and asks, what did the general leave here? The guy asks if they have hearing problems, or if they didn't realize the first time that they had to get out of here before the manager took their heads. Wang Lao punches him in the face and tells the deputy that he must shut his mouth. Is he so blind and stupid that he cannot see who is standing in front of him? He should get on his knees and start apologizing soon. He kneels down and asks them to forgive this little man. His eyes didn't know what Taishan looked like until this moment. He knows that he must die for such an insult, and he won't run away. But he believes that he knows how to forgive those who repent. Zhang Tian says that he sees that he is not bad, he just has to fulfill his request, and then he will see. He gets out of the car and asks, by the way, it's not a problem that they park the car right at the entrance, is it? Wang Lao says of course there is no problem, they can leave the car wherever it is convenient for them. Zhang Tian says that's good, now they should take him to Pooh Xiao. After a couple of minutes, the guy tells Master Xiao that this guy is here. What to do next? Pooh Xiaogu says that he doesn't have to worry. First, they will offer them some tea. The guys sitting nearby say that Mr. Pooh Xiao's tea way is indeed becoming more and more refined. The profit from this area also proves it. It's even surprising that some nameless guys dare to challenge him. They don't seem to be afraid of death. The master's arms are so long and wide that they are enough to cover the entire young generation of Heidong. He is a worthy heir to his family, and his father Pooh Xiaomu can deal with these guys and feed them to the dogs. By the way, they haven't eaten for a long time. Pooh Xiaogu says there is no need to rush. He wants to enjoy this moment to the fullest. Moreover, they are his guests, and all the guests of the Pooh family are extraordinary and interesting people. By the way, a lot of time has passed since the last reception of guests. In his memory, it was a couple of years ago, and his uncle Xiaodu was receiving the guests then. So there are only 2 of them. Which one is Long Yiding's brother? Zhang Tian says it is him. Pooh Xiaogu laughs and says that he's so young, but he's already doing this. He knows what power is and the power that this power gives. He feels bad for wasting his skills. By the way, this guy is also smart and quite skilled, but he sees that he is better than him. However, due to his carelessness, their acquaintance was overshadowed by unnecessary skirmishes, but he is generous and does not waste valuable personnel, so a simple apology will be enough for him to save his life and invite him to work for himself. What does he think about this? Zhang Tian asks if he could be quiet. He decides what tea to brew for himself. Tank asks, is this all the tea they have? They must hurry up and bring all the tea they have here. The eldest loves tea and honors the secret tea traditions, and as far as he remembers, his family loves 10-year-old green tea. This greatly surprises all those present in this room. Pooh Xiaogu smiles and says that they are really cool, but it seems like they see everything in pink. Then they will have to ask Master Ma to add some color to their lives. The man took the bottle and ran up to them and said that since he was a true connoisseur of tea, he should allow them to offer a strong drink made from tea leaves, which the gentleman had prepared especially for them. The tank knocks him back with one hit and asks if he only took one hit. He's not that strong. Pooh Xiaogu says that they are still difficult children. He will have to punish them. First they have to grab them. Many people gather around them. He says he gives them 30 seconds to do all this. Tank tells the elder that he doesn't have to worry, he will handle it faster. He grabs one of the guys by the throat and lifts him up. He swings this guy around and knocks people around him. Zhang Tian calmly walks away and picks up his teacup. He drinks this tea and says that this tea looks like a dragon, and the leaves are also of a similar shape, and most likely this also takes its history from the Qing dynasty. But this is not tea from the 18 Qianlong bushes, and even more so this tea is far from the assigned title. Guncha tea is an offering to the emperor. To be precise, this is a fake dragon. Well, this is a fake Long Jing, and judging by the aroma, it is not from Zhejiang. Pooh Xiaogu asks loudly, what is he saying? This is Zhejiang Long Jing tea, which is supplied to him from the first level protected area near Roman 11 Hu. His friend has been in the tea leaf business for over 10 years. He has earned $1 million. How can he lie to him so blatantly? He doesn't understand tea history at all and is far from the tea path. Zhang Tian says that Zhejiang Long Jing tea is of impeccable shape. Its leaves are bright, green turquoise, golden, and the thick aroma intersects with a fresh, rich taste. His tea leaves are not dry enough, the aroma is grassy, and the color is lighter than it should be. Because this counterfeit appears on the market a month earlier than Zhejiang Long Jing tea, and unscrupulous tea traders often take advantage of this to sell at a premium and at a high price. He doesn't even know the real taste of Long Jing, but he's trying to pretend that it's not so. I wonder how much these Long Jing suppliers charged him, because the price at which he sells first-class tea, worthy of an emperor, is much higher than the real cost. Pooh Xiaogu laughs and asks how dare these guys play with him. They want to disgrace his pride and family. Zhang Tian says that he will continue. Since this tea is not from Zhejiang province, the taste should be less rich. Overall, it is rather a second-class tea, which is well passed off as the first grade. Color, aroma, taste, appearance, each of these 4 features is at an insufficient level. It is simply not enough to fill Chen Hu. Pooh Xiaogu silently looks at him and listens. Zhang Tian says that his tea journey is, how can I put it, disappointing. He gets angry because of what was said and asks if he's tired of being bullied yet. Although he can say what he wants, he will still die today, and no one will know the truth. The tank throws the guy off, who crashes into the wall next to him. He dusts off his hands and walks towards them. He tells the elder that these people are too weak. He only used 1/3 of his strength. Even for warming up, this is not enough. Pooh Xiaogu is surprised and asks how is this possible. Zhang Tian says that he should not be distracted. He promised him first-class tea, but everything he drinks here is a second-class product. He sincerely hoped that after he drank good tea, he would feel better and his anger would subside, but he let him down. He hits him in the face with his palm. Pooh Xiaogu pushes his hand away and says that he shouldn't be too happy. He probably already forgot that he is in his territory. Today he will know pain. He claps his hands and many armed people enter the hall. A guy runs past these armed men and says they should wait. He tells his master that he must stop. Pooh Xiaogu asks Ben Xiao what happened so important that he decided to interrupt his conversation with the guests. He tells his master that he cannot afford to offend or insult these 2 people at all because they are from. Pooh Xiaogu did not listen to him and slapped him in the face. He asks, is he laughing at him? He is one of the 3 great families of Heidong, and he knows everyone whom he cannot afford to offend personally, and these two are just ants who crawled out of the anthill to see the big world. The other guy tries to tell him that they are theirs. He doesn't listen to him and says that he doesn't care who they are or where they come from. Even if they are the children of the King of Heaven, he does not care. He hits this guy and says that they are two idiots. They doubt him so much that they rush in here and shout that he can't hurt them, thereby showing how low of a position he is. That is, a person without authority and prestige, so what? Why are they still there? Should they kill these two, or are they waiting for an invitation to tea? Zhang Tian says that he is a very difficult guy. He must deal with them too. Tank flexes his fists and says that he agrees. He comes over and grabs the two guys by the throat. He throws them with great force at the other guys. Pooh Xiaogu sits relaxed on his sofa and says that he shouldn't pretend to be in control. He should think about the fact that he will die very soon. Zhang Tian says that he should listen to him. He thought, even though his tea is second-rate, it still has its advantages. So he recommends that he drink it, because later he won't have this opportunity, so he shouldn't miss the moment. After 2 minutes, Tank opens the door and returns to them. Pooh Xiaogu is happy when he notices that the door has been opened, but he notices that the corpses of his men are lying in the corridor. He asks, how is this possible? More than 100 people were defeated in a matter of minutes. Is it even possible? Zhang Tian asks, what other tricks does he have? He might as well try to use it. Otherwise, he really won't stand a chance. Tank kicks Pooh Xiaogu's leg with great force. He says they are a bunch of straw bags. Why is the elder still wasting time on him? He must destroy this little boy. Pooh Xiaogu says that they shouldn't be in such a hurry. He won't have time to pick up his sister from school anyway. He can trust him. Zhang Tian asks, what did he just say? He thinks that Dai Kai and Lao Hu, two useless people, they cannot even fulfill what they promised by putting their lives on the line. Pooh Xiaogu asks if he doesn't believe him. If he wants, he can call to make sure of this. He calls Yu Liji and says that he should let his little sister say a few words to her brother. Dai Kai greets him and says that he has bad news for him. Yu Liji got into trouble. He was on his way to him. But halfway there he got out of the car and died, so he won't hear from him again. Pooh Xiaogu asks how dare he interfere and confuse his affairs. Did he want to die? He must wait a little. He will finish here and come for him. Zhang Tian snatched the phone from his hand. He tells Dai Kai that it is him. He should give the phone to his sister. Zhang Wushuang tells his brother that she is fine, they saved her, and he doesn't have to worry. Zhang Tian asks Pooh Xiaogu if he has anything final to say. He kneels down and asks who he is he even a person? The guy tells him that they are from a black dragon. Pooh Xiaogu is scared and asks what did he say? Why is he only finding out now? Any carelessness in their direction is a sure road to death. Zhang Tian leaves and says that they should take him away. After some time, they arrive together at the sea near a rocky area. Pooh Xiaogu kneels and looks at the sea. Zhang Tian says that he can enjoy this view. There are not many chances left in his life to see such a scene again. Pooh Xiaogu turns to him and says that he really didn't know that Long Yiding was his sister. He thought that she was an ordinary girl. He bows and says that he just wanted to meet her. He would never harm such a sweet girl. He would not dare. Zhang Tian asks, that is, if this is a girl from an ordinary family, then she can do whatever she wants, right? He threw a stone at Pooh Xiaogu and said that he fought against 100,000 warriors. Throwing back his head and looking at the sky, he saw bloody rain that was dripping on him. He walked over corpses when he was a child. The bones of his enemies cracked under his feet, and he could not go back. To protect his country and all civilians, he did not spare himself. So why, after everything he has experienced and returned home to his family, does he have to deal with freaks like him who believe in their permissiveness and impunity? Such behavior makes his sacrifice for the country meaningless. He throws several stones that hit Pooh Xiaogu. This makes him fall to the floor and asks him to spare his life. He is the only son of the Pooh family. He can't just kill him. His family will pay any price for his life. He must believe him. Zhang Tian asks, did he say any price? Then they can test how valuable his life is. Sometime later at Pooh Ya's residence. The old man, the head of the Pooh family, Pooh Xiaomu, is here. A man comes up to him and says that he is waiting to congratulate the master of the Pooh family for long life and prosperity. Many people come up to them and they say that they congratulate the master of the Pooh family, long life and prosperity to their family. Pooh Xiaomu says his name and says that he is grateful to them for their congratulations. A man runs up to them and calls the old master. He runs up to him and whispers something in his ear. Pooh Xiaomu says that there is no need to whisper and he can speak out loud. The man says that Junior Master Xiao has been kidnapped. The people standing next to them say that the Junior Master has been kidnapped. This is a serious problem for the family. How dare they? Moreover, they chose such a time. The Senior Master is celebrating his 60th birthday today. It may seem that they want to humiliate Master Pooh Xiaomu this way. But on the other hand, who would go against the Pooh family in Heidong? They are either fools or have strength. Pooh Xiaomu asks who did this. The man takes out his phone and says that they don't know who stole it, since the young gentleman himself called them, but he definitely said that he should conduct the negotiations personally. Pooh Xiaomu says that he can tell him that today is his 60th birthday and he doesn't want to kill today. He can take it and send it to him. They will leave it at that. The man says that the head of the Pooh family is very wise and generous, since he decided to forgive the offender and give him the jingo of the Pooh family. Other men say that the head once again proved his wisdom with such a decision. There are no people in Heidong who would dare to refuse a gift from the master of the Pooh family. Moreover, this is not just a gift, but Jingo himself of the Pooh family is a pass at any time to Heidong and beyond. It opens almost every door in this city. Even the Chen family and Shangyuan family, when they see the famous Jinguo of the Pooh family, cannot refuse the bearer hospitality. This is a very precious gift. He hopes that the kidnappers will be smart enough to understand his true value, and that will all end there. At the same time, Pooh Xiaogu is sitting and talking to someone on the phone. Someone tells him that he has nothing to worry about. The old master said that he forgives his offenders for this joke and will give them Jingo Pooh in honor of his birthday. Pooh Xiaogu tells Guanjia that he owes his father, that they cannot afford to provoke these people at all. They are not ordinary highway robbers, they are the emperor's guards. He must transfer to them half of the Pooh family's property, all securities and jewelry, part of the rights to real and movable property. These people, they don't understand who they are. Guanjia tells Master Xiao that he should relax. No matter who the person who kidnapped them is, when he arrives in Heidong, he will still appear in front of the family dragon. Even if it's a tiger or a bear, he wants more meat than he can eat. So don't worry, young master, and wait a little. The old master will definitely save him. Pooh Xiaogu says that they really can't let them enter their house otherwise. Zhang Qian snatches the phone from him and says that he is waiting for his owner to come. Guanjia tells the kidnapper that their master is very merciful and is giving them a chance. He must let the young master go, accept a valuable gift, and go as far as possible from the Pooh family. Zhang Tian asks, did he say a valuable gift? Are they really talking about Jingo Pooh Xiaomu? He wants to ransom his only son for this useless garbage. It seems that he is already so old that he has ceased to clearly see who or what is in front of him. Looks like we'll have to help him see the light. He took the sword that Tank gave him. He very quickly throws away the sword he took. With this throw of the sword, he cut off Pooh Xiaogu's hand. He begins to scream very loudly in pain and falls to the ground. Zhang Qian says that he should take this and send it to his father. Tank takes out the cloth and says that he will do as he orders. He immediately raised his hand. At the same time, Pooh Xiaomu says that he is grateful to all of them for coming to the celebration and will forgive them for worrying about his son. If it weren't for his birthday, he might already be on his way to the kidnapper to deal with him. The man next to him says that he doesn't have to worry, they understand everything, especially since he is sure that after the kidnappers receive his gift, they will forget their names. Pooh Xiaomu says that over the years he began to understand that all these are small things. He is a worthy man from a worthy family. He wants to be kind to his friends, fair to ordinary people, and wise to his enemies. Therefore, he will always try to resolve everything peacefully, and only then grab a knife or gun. The man says that Master Pooh has a wonderful philosophy of life, the way of a warrior without a sword, but knowing the taste and smell of blood. With the help of this Jingo, it will be possible to find these kidnappers later, if only they are smart enough not to be exposed to them. Another man says that he is like a great general who can subdue a wild horse with one palm and prevent a ship from sinking with his belly. Pooh Xiaomu takes a sip of wine from his glass with a satisfied look. The man runs towards him and tells the senior master that something terrible has happened. He asks what happened again. The man tells the foreman that they got it from the kidnappers. They should go into another room. He must tell him something. Pooh Xiaomu refuses and says that he should tell it like it is right here. The man tells the master that it seems that these guys finally realized who was in front of them. They felt fear and decided to give him a gift in return in order to somehow smooth out the corners in this problem. Another man says that whatever they send there, they have already sent. They have already belittled the honor and authority of the head and his family, so in any case, sooner or later they will answer for it. The man says that there is really no way to atone for such a sin, so when judgment overtakes them, they will still suffer. Pooh Xiaomu says that they should let Guanjia tell what happened this time. The man says that when he arrived at the meeting place, this man did not come at all, but simply sent someone to deliver this box. Pooh Xiaomu says that when he returned to the Lord, this man did not come at all, but sent someone to convey this. Guanjia opens the box and shows the severed hand. This greatly surprises everyone present here. Pooh Xiaomu says that this is his boy's hand. His phone starts ringing, and he picks it up. Zhang Tian says that since he is too old to walk, he himself will come to him tomorrow at about 12 o'clock. He will take his son too, so he doesn't have to worry. He will have time to say goodbye to him. Pooh Xiaomu clenched the phone very tightly in his hand out of anger and says that as the head of the family, he will give him the warmest welcome of his life. A distraught man, what animal's heart did he eat to gain the courage to harm his child in front of his own eyes? He won't tolerate it. The man says that this stranger has gone too far. He dares to mock him as a defenseless parent of his child. What an insignificant person. He should just say, and they will deal with him and bring back the young master. Pooh Xiaomu says that tomorrow he will know his wrath, and will personally feel the breath of death of the Pooh family. Tomorrow his curtain must fall before he arrives here. Sometime later in a wine restaurant, the tank eats a large piece of meat. Long Dukang says that this time they acted more brazenly. He really scared him a lot, that this time he would definitely lose his daughter. However, all the people from the Pooh family are still common people, so they can drink. Zhang Tian says that he doesn't have to worry, he will sort everything out tomorrow, and they won't be able to bother him anymore. He drinks what was poured for him. The girl standing next to him tells the other girl that she should look at this. He is enjoying the food so much, and it looks very tasty that she is also hungry. Long Dukang says that having dinner with family and friends, such moments are worth a lot. Zhang Tian thinks that during the war, the tank guarded distant borders, which was why there were problems with the supply of food. Because of this, all his operations were limited in time, and in one of these operations, he and 1,000 of his people were surrounded. The enemy was pressing in numbers, which is why the tank could not break out of the ring. Under such pressure, Tank and his people were forced to move away from the border. They settled in a fortress made of wood and mud in a hole they had dug. In order to somehow help the seriously wounded, Tank gave away his own army rations and did not eat a single crumb for several days. At the same time, he continued to give commands and lead people with him to resist the enemy army. When he and his men broke through the siege and reached the earthen fortress, no more than 20 people remained in his detachment, all the rest died. Remained on the sandy field, the people of their country handed over, leaving only bones and memories behind. The tank was thin and exhausted. He did not even have the strength to move on his own, so his comrades helped him. Then Tank told the eldest that he could not forgive himself for this. Out of 1,000 brothers, there were only a few left. They were dying before his eyes, in his arms. He was very guilty of this. Zhang Tian thinks that the impenetrable Tank, more than 2 meters tall, is a cold-blooded commander who did not flinch in front of the enemy army, did not retreat to the very end, sacrificing food and sleep. But at that moment, this impenetrable Tank could not stand it. He took the blame for all the soldiers who died on that field, for every life lost. War destroys destinies and takes lives. War erases people's smiles. Tank tells the elder that he should forgive him, but he can't stop, so he apologizes for putting him in this awkward position. Zhang Tian slaps him in the face and asks how he does this. He's already eaten 20 servings. Is he really overindulged? Or does he think that since he's not in the army, he can relax and take the path of gluttony and laziness as a civilian? Tank tells the elder that he had never even thought of such a thing. Zhang Tian asks if this is not the case, then how could he eat 20 portions and claim that he can eat a few more? Perhaps they need to be tougher with him. They will resume training next week. Tank says he will do as the emperor orders. Long Dukyang is surprised and asks, did he call him emperor? Tank begins to worry greatly and says that he meant the emperor as one of the sons of the king of heaven, who, according to legend, destroyed 20 chains of fate to save his student from a sad end, and it turns out that the eldest is the son of the king, and he is his student. Long Duqiang says that this is what he meant, and he almost mistakenly thought that Zhang Tian, because of his strength, is the famous general of the winged cavalrymen, the god of war, Emperor Zhang. The next day, the man tells Mr. Tier Huang that they found out that Dai Kai and his brothers are also involved in this, albeit indirectly, but they can also visit here. By the way, he understands why they are doing this, but judging by the information, their opponent is not some kind of street hooligan, so he needs to be careful. They can't afford to pay too much to meet him. Although they say that he has 3 heads and 6 arms, but there are a couple of dozen people here, he will believe that he will retreat. The man says that even this cat kingdom has recognized him as its leader. He understands and accepts the risks, but he cannot miss this chance now. If he succeeds in fulfilling the order of the head of the Pooh family, then his Huang family can become one of the main families of the second circle to hate on. The man looks at his watch and says that this is strange. There are only 5 minutes left before the scheduled meeting, and they haven't even crossed the first checkpoint yet. It looks like they changed plans or got scared. The man from the Huang family says that this is not so. They were definitely not afraid. They dared to kidnap the young master. That means they are definitely crazy, and fear is not known to such people. He can be sure that they will definitely come. The man says that he absolutely right. The man from the Huang family stands up and says that the time has almost come. They must be ready. As soon as they appear, they will immediately begin, and no matter how many there are, they will act according to the plan. They should not forget that there will be a young master there, so they will act carefully, if possible, of course. Sometime later, Tank is driving in the car and tells the elder that these idiots are too confident, and they know that they are coming towards them, but they still block the road, and he hates traffic jams. Zhang Tian says that this old man seems to have come up with something and is just trying to stall for time, and he does it as usual on a grand scale, but he is a punctual person, so he must call a helicopter here. He remembers that the Tianwang military wing is closest to them. He must ask them to come to Heidong for inspection. Tank laughs and says that it's a pity that he can't come to them on his horse. Sometime later at the Pooh family office, Pooh Xiaomu asks what news from Huang Fa Kai and his welcoming party. Guanjia says that he just contacted him, but he claims that everything is calm. The guy says that it looks like they realized who they were messing with, and they're just scared to come. Yesterday, they behaved so self-confidently, he already thought that it was the predator he fanned who swam across the river, but he did not think that it was another idiot. Zia King says that she was counting on this weekend. She thought about going to the center and visiting the music square, especially since they haven't seen each other for a long time. But due to the fact that 4 roads were blocked at once, they are forced to stay here. It's even curious what kind of event happened, since they agreed to such a thing. Wenzu says that then they can go on foot and see what kind of big event there is. Song Jiang approaches them and asks what are they doing here. Wenzu notices him and asks what happened to her. He says it turned out badly. Last night he was walking through the park and saw 2 young guys trying to rob an old man. He wanted to stop them, but they noticed him and started running away. He chased them and came across their friends, so it wasn't easy, but he detained them until the police arrived. He thinks he will lie. He can't say that he wanted to go into the club, but they didn't let him in, and he started a row, for which the guards beat him up. Zia King asks why elderly people even go out at night to walk in an empty park. Do they really like the evening air so much? And he didn't need to pursue them. He just had to call the police and wait for them, give a statement, and leave peacefully. Song Jiang asks if she can look at him and say, does he look like the kind of person who would leave an old man in trouble? Zia King says that he is more like a cheater. These words made Song Jiang a little confused. Wenzu says that they need to go to catch the shop's closing time, so they should hurry up. He asks them to wait and asks didn't they hear that in addition to the roads, the city center near the Pooh family's office was also closed? As far as he knows, all the stores are closed today. Wenzu turns to him and asks, did he say that the shops were closed? How come they don't work on weekends? Song Jiang takes out his phone and says that something big is happening on the other side today. But it's not a very big secret. She can find out everything with one phone call. Sometime later, he says that as he said, there is no problem, to be honest. Today, Huang Fa Kai and Huang Zong blocked off part of the city from the Pooh family residence to the office. But he was mistaken, and some of the shops are still open, so he could guide them through them. He will be happy to help them. Most likely in 30 minutes, they will already be in the center on the music square. Since their car is stuck here, he will take them in his own. His car is on the other side of the street. It will take about 5 minutes to walk. Zia King thinks about this. When Zhu turns around and calls out to Zhang Tian, who is standing next to them. He is surprised to see her. She hugs him and says that she has finally found him. She is very happy to see him, although she asked his sister to introduce them soon, but she did not expect to see him so soon. An involuntary accident allowed her to touch him again. Zia King wonders who this is. She just saw him and just rushed into his arms. Zhang Tian tells Wenzu that he is back. She asks what he has been up to for the past few years. He says that when the soldiers left, their unit received several special assignments on the border, and they had to cut off all contact with the world. Wenzu says that she tried to ask her father about him, but he always ignored this question, so she wanted to find out everything herself. But since her rash actions could lead to serious problems, she was sent to study and then got a job here as a teacher. It looks like this time he will solve all his problems with the Chen family. Zhang Tian says that she need not be afraid. He is here. He used to take care of her, but now he is back and will do everything to make her life calm and happy. Song Zhang asks, did she just call him Zhang Tian? So this is Long Yiding's elder brother. Zhang Tian ignores him and asks, were they going to visit the music square? Wenzu agrees and says that on weekends it is rare to go out to relax. She didn't expect to encounter traffic jams, and she heard that the music square was also closed today. Song Zheng gets very angry and asks this guy, is he talking to him? Can he hear him? Zhang Tian continues to ignore him and says that a helicopter will come for him soon. He could help her get there. Then she won't have to worry about traffic jams. Song Zheng shakes with anger and looks at him. Zia King is surprised and asks, did he say helicopter? He means that due to some traffic jams, he specially called a helicopter to get out of here. Does she understand correctly? Zhang Tian says everything is correct. Are there any problems with this? Zia King says that she sees that bragging is in fashion today with guys like him. But she knows that he is Long Yiding's brother, and she knows who he is. A cocky person like him, she can't even justify his lies. Does he even understand how funny this sounds? He called a helicopter because of traffic jams. She and Wenzu should go. Compared to this guy's words, Song Zheng's car is more real and believable. Sometime later, Song Zheng opens the car door and says that he is honored to serve 2 beautiful girls. He doesn't look like some of those peddlers of cheap stories. And even more so, he will not land the helicopter on the road because of traffic jams. Wenzu is confused and looks at Zhang Tian. She comes up to him and says that it was a really funny joke, but if he wants, he can go with them. They can chat while walking. Song Zheng says with an angry look that after all this, she still worries about this child. He cannot compare with him. Zhang Tian grabs Wenzu's hand and says that it seems his transport has arrived. Several helicopters fly towards them at the same moment. Zia King says that he shouldn't make things up. There are helicopters flying in the city center every day. But what does this have to do with him? One of the helicopters flies up to them and hovers in the air. The helicopter begins to slowly land next to them. Song Zheng looks at what is happening in surprise. 2 military men come out of the helicopter, and one of them tells General Zhang that the Tianwang combat wing has arrived. Wenzu is surprised and asks if it is really behind him. Zhang Tian extends his hand and asks them to come on board. She turns to Zia King and says that he didn't lie. They should go there quickly. She blushed and tried to say something. Song Zheng says it must be a rented helicopter. This kid's ordinary appearance is enough to become a model. But he can only dream of buying a helicopter. Sometime later, Huang Fa-kai says that these combat helicopters, and in such numbers, are as if Emperor Zhang himself, who has power over half the country, decided to visit their city, but the whole life of people of this level takes place in the capital. So why did he come to such a small place? The man asks, maybe someone decided to make an expensive joke. After all, showing yourself in the best light is more valuable than gold. Huang Fa-kai says there is some truth to this. They will leave it alone. This must be a massive exercise. They should continue to wait for their guest. At the same moment, several helicopters fly overhead towards them. He notices this and asks, what is this emblem on the flag? He was able to see the flag and asks, isn't this the battle flag of the winged cavalry general? Is it really Emperor Zhang himself? He falls to the ground and bows. The guy asks what happened and what is he doing. Huang Fakai says that this is actually General Zhang. This is his red bird of the south. But why is it here, and why is it still standing? He must kneel down immediately. A helicopter flies past them. The guy helps Huang Fakai get up and says that the helicopter flew towards the Xianglong group. What will they do now? He asks what else can he do. We urgently need to inform Master Pooh about this. If the Emperor decided to visit them, they would either receive a blessing or be cursed and die. His power and strength are too great, they cannot be frivolous, otherwise they will pay for it. He should hurry up and inform Pooh Xiaomu that the winged cavalry general is heading to the headquarters. Sometime later, Pooh Xiaomu and several guards are walking somewhere. The people they go to say that everyone who saw these helicopters began to come here like crazy. It's good that they blocked the road in advance. Everyone dreams of seeing a war hero because he brought peace to their country. It would be a great honor for him to see the head of the heavenly wings in person. Huang Fakai runs to Master Pooh and calls him. He says he has urgent news. Pooh Xiaomu asks, did they catch the madman who kidnapped his son? Great, they'll talk about it later. He thinks that the most important thing now is helicopters, and the one who flies in them is the owner of the red bird of the south, the top of the world elite, the one who personifies endless strength and power. He is the one thanks to whom his Pooh family can easily climb to the top of Heidong, and maybe the entire province. At such moments, the saved son can wait. Huang Fakai says this is about Emperor Zhang. He is heading to Xianglong. Pooh Xiao is very surprised by this and asks, what did he just say? No one should know about this, they should go. He thinks that to meet the emperor, all the powerful families gather together in the hope of gaining favor. He didn't expect that his family would be the first to get this opportunity. Receive the favor of the Emperor of Heaven right now. This opportunity cannot be missed after some time. The helicopters dropped off all those they were transporting. When Zhu asks Zhang Chan if he won't come with them, he refuses and says he still has some things to deal with. Some time later, he goes with Tank, who is carrying the body in a bag. 2 guards stand in front of them and tell them that they must stop where they are. Who are they and what are they doing here? Zhang Qian says that they should call Pooh Xiaomu and tell him that he and his son will be waiting at the office. The guard asks if he is too bold for such requests. He must either show permission or leave here. Although where does such an idiot get the master's permission? The Tank throws Pooh Xiaogu at several guards. He tells the elder that it was too easy. Zhang Qian smiles and says they should go. They both walk towards the office, carrying Pooh Xiaogu with them. After some time in the commercial heart of the Pooh family, the Xianglong group, several people are standing near the helipad. Pooh Xiaomu asks what's going on. Where is Emperor Zhang? Huang Fakai says he should have been here. His brother definitely saw that the helicopter landed on the music square. He couldn't just disappear. 2 guys come running to them and tell Master Pooh that some unknown people have broken into the office and demand a meeting with him. Pooh Xiaomu says he doesn't care about them. He saw Emperor Zhang. Can he tell where he is? The guy says that he is afraid that these freaks might ruin everything. Huang Fakai says not that. The security is not notified that they have a VIP guest, which means that according to the regulations they must react to them as intruders. They can make unnecessary noise. He throws something at the guard and asks why is he still here. He must hurry up and warn everyone via communications so that they do everything quietly. Master Pooh must remain outside to meet the king as befits the master of the house, and he will rise up and try to settle everything. Pooh Xiaomu says that he will remember his kindness and determination to help his family. Huang Fakai leaves and thinks that from these words, he can understand that he is one step closer to power in Heidong. Everything is as he planned. Several cars drive up to the building. Pooh Xiaomu notices this and wonders why Liu Yuntong's car is here. The old man gets out of the car and says that the Pooh family is worthy of the title of the greatest keyball Heidong. However, why did he hide the fact that he had guests? Pooh Xiaomu says that he understands this secrecy did not slow down his response too much, and here he is. At the same time, Tank slaps the guy in the face and says that he is disappointed. They say that Xianglong is an outstanding keyball Heidong. But what about their security and the security system as a whole? Many guards lie on the floor and writhe in pain. Zhang Tian says that he is too demanding. After all, they are just guards. They cannot be compared with the mercenaries they met in the war. The guy lying on the floor asks why it hurts so much. Huang Fakai is greatly shocked by what he sees and asks what happened here. He is very sorry. He is sincerely sorry and hopes that they will spare him. Zhang Tian turns around and says that he should leave him. Huang Fa-kai falls to his knees and says that this could be the end of him. Tank asks the elder why he decided to let that guy go. Zhang Tian says that because he was scared like a little child. But if he really wanted to get his hands dirty, then he could have asked. Tank laughed and said that he was right, he wouldn't be able to touch him. Zhang Tian says that he should put this bag here and call that old man to say that he has 5 minutes to come and explain himself to him. Tank agrees and puts the body on the table. He took out his phone and called him. Pooh Xiaomu takes the phone and asks what's wrong. Huang Fa-kai tells the master that he seems to have settled everything, but he needs to leave urgently. It seems that his people have captured the kidnapper. Pooh Xiaomu says that's good, they should deal with the kidnapper and come back right away. Liu Yongtong says that Master Pooh's complexion does not seem to be very good. It seems like he has other things to worry about, so why doesn't he take care of that first? And he can leave the rest to him. Pooh Xiaomu says that he need not worry. No matter how important things are, how could this be more important than meeting such a guest? Xianglong is the territory of the Pooh family, and naturally his family should be responsible for giving a decent welcome. Liu Yongtong wonders, does this old man really care about his family? Tank tells the elder that he couldn't get through. Zhang Tian says it's a pity, he wanted to give him a chance, but it looks like he'll have to visit him on his own. However, they will go down a different route. He threw Pooh Haogu out of the window and he fell to the ground, which greatly surprised the people nearby. People ask what happened. Did someone jump out of the building? A large crowd of people gathered around the fallen body. Zhang Tian says they should go. Tank agrees. They use large shards of glass and climb down the wall. Zhang Tian says that after returning from the war, he has not had so much fun. His heart is beating very hard. Pooh Haomu approaches the body that fell to the ground. He tears off the fabric, and seeing Pooh Haogu's body asks how this can happen. He picks him up and says that for the sake of the Pooh family, he must forgive him, but he cannot avenge him, at least not today. He turns to the people next to him and says that they must find whoever did this. They must have time to settle everything before the emperor arrives, otherwise their Pooh family may suffer. They must quickly remove the body from here and clean up the place. Now, the meeting of guests is more important, even the life of his own son. Several people have wrapped the body in cloth and are about to carry it away. Tank throws a kick and knocks one of the guys away. He grabs one of the guards, who asks who he even is. He slams this guy to the floor. Zhang Tian puts his foot on his body and asks, is he Pooh Xiaomu? It's incredibly difficult to meet him. He's even tired of running after him. People standing around them ask, who is this man? It didn't seem to him that they came down from the top of the building. Zhang Tian says that he understands this. He wants to avenge his son, tooth for tooth, corpse for corpse, but he dares to assure him that even for him, it will be impossible to do this because he will only get hurt. Pooh Xiaomu is very angry and tells this freak that he will definitely kill him, but today he is not the most important event in his life, and he hopes that he is smart enough to be quiet. He just hopes that his guest's visit to Heidong will go smoothly and without problems, so he will get straight to the point. How much does he want? Zhang Tian thinks about it. Did he say no problem? It's too funny when he says it to his face. He laughs and says it's quite interesting. For the sake of his own future, he will even forget about the death of his own son. In that case, he wants 100 million. Pooh Haomu is very surprised and asks how much did he say. The guy goes to him and asks, is he crazy, asking for 100 million? He should let him tell them that he is the most powerful judge in Heidong. He should hurry up and apologize to the master and pay him compensation. Then he will be lenient towards them when sentencing. Zhang Tian says that it looks like their people don't want no problem. In this case, Pooh Xiaomu says that he should wait, he shouldn't get excited. He hits the guy and asks who allowed him to open his mouth. He must leave here immediately. This is the Xianglong Platinum card. There are 100 million there. Zhang Tian took the card and said that it was dirty money from a clean person. With this, they will leave. By the way, when this money runs out, he will find him again. Pooh Xiaomu says that when he finishes greeting the Heavenly King, he himself will find him to settle the score and tear him to pieces. Tank says that in order to gain even more power and influence, he even ignored the murder of his own son. Zhang Tian agrees and says that he is very similar to his father. He thinks that he hopes that he is in good health and is waiting for him to break his kneecaps so that he cannot get up from his knees when he asks for forgiveness at his mother's grave. Tank thinks that this emperor's aura is still terrifying. When Zhu walks towards them and waves his hand at them, Zia King walks next to her and says that her friend also came to see Emperor Zhang. Zhang Tian asks, shouldn't they be in the music square? Wenzu says that Zia King heard that the god of war himself would come to the Xianglong group, so she came here in hopes of at least seeing him with one eye. A whole line of people lined up in one of the buildings. Zia King says that this is a great time for the god of war to come to Heidong for a visit, but unfortunately, the Xianglong group only allows families with a wealth of at least 100 million. By the way, how did he end up here? They didn't see him while they were walking, which means he was coming from the direction of the Xianglong group. Zhang Tian says she is right, he was in Xianglong to settle some issues. Zia King says that she admires how calmly he lies about such things, he seems to have talent. Song Zheng says that he earned money to rent a helicopter, all in order to make himself look better. It would be better for him to spend this money usefully than to waste money like this. He thinks that if he makes this idiot look bad, then Wenzu. He doesn't have time to think it through because Zhang Tian says that he said it as it is, and whether he is believed or not is indifferent to him. He will leave first, but if they suddenly want to get to Xianglong, they can use this card. Song Zheng asks who is he trying to fool with this piece of plastic. She may not even think about accepting it because she will simply embarrass herself when the time comes. She can see how it's done, one call and they'll be inside. He personally knows Huang Fa Kai. Tank says that he is clearly lying too much. If he says one more word in this direction, he will die immediately. Shang Chan stops him and says that he shouldn't. This worm is not worthy of their efforts. They should leave. Song Zheng calls Huang Fa Kai and tells his boss that he would like to ask him something. They tell him that if he dares to call him again, he will send someone to cripple him. He puts the phone away and asks if this is really something that ordinary people can do. He can't even fully understand who is in front of him then. He stands and sees a very thick window that has been broken. Song Zheng is very depressed and asks, what do you mean Huang's boss Fa Kai is furious? Wenzu says that it looks like the teacher is trying to be cool at the expense of other people, unlike Zhang Tian. He should not forget that the closer they are to the fire, the greater the chance of getting burned. She hands Zia King the card and says that she should take this because she wanted to go. She leaves and says that they will meet again someday. She approaches Zhang Tian and says that she knows a good restaurant nearby called Zikyangj. Zia King looks at the card and says that she still doesn't understand why Wenzu is so fascinated by this man, but she really wants to find out. Moreover, it seems to her that this broken card will not be useful to her. She runs after them and says that they should wait. She will go with them. Song Zheng asks how did it all happen.